Festival, Big Mek here, and it's Monday Night WAAAAGH, which means it's time for Hobby Hangout. And I'm not the only one who's back, because so is Boss Nazdreg. So let's get into it. All right. So for those of you that are new here, I am old Big Mek. This is the Red Ones Go Fasta, your premier Warhammer 40k hobby channel. If you like collecting, building, kit bashing, trash hammer, beer and pretzels games, filthy casual, you have made it to the right spot. Definitely a green tint going on around here, especially lately with all of the Orkdom coming with Armageddon and 11th edition. However, we do cover everything 40k. So also, these live streams, we record all of them and then put them live on, not live, we put them up on YouTube after they have been live. So if you are watching this and you are not live, you could kind of fast forward a little bit. There's usually like a little spike right here that you can fast forward to, because right now what we're going to do is share the link out so that everybody has it. Give everyone a chance to grab themselves a red squig and get settled in before we get chatting. So yeah, grab your favorite mug from redonsgofasta.com and yeah, two of them even if you really need, if you need that extra red squig, and we'll be getting into it. All right, let me get this link out there. Hey, Shady Snakes, already on there, brother. How you doing tonight, my friend? Let's see, and then I got to get my live chat software going as well. All right, that going up there. Shadow of Doom. Give everyone. Hey, there we go. Dirt Hermit is here. Legion of the Damned. Washani. Hey, guys. Oh, yeah, you know it. In fact, fun fact, I knew Nazdreg was up because my old lore video on Nazdreg started going bananas all of a sudden. And I'm like, why is this super old video suddenly going bananas? And it was like, because we have a Nazdreg model. So yeah, that's been super fun. All right, let me get my oh, come on. Get open, you. There we go. Okay. I think we go. Come on. What are you doing, you piece of squig turd? There we go. I think we got it going there. There we go. All right. Shady Snakes says glasses look good today. No glare. No, there's glare. You see the ring on it from the ring light. I keep trying to like mess with it. Still have decent lighting. Let me play the shade too. Shade snake. Oh no, that puts lines on me. Sick and balls, son. Oh, turn on every light in this place. There we go. Try my best. Let's try that. How's that? We have a much of a still kind of can't really. There we go. Let's do that. Yeah, so for those who don't know, this is my hobby dungeon. I do have one window right there, nothing else, and no overhead light. There's like access to a crawl space up there and down there, and garages over there. Yeah. Let's go. All right. Yeah, Drakenfeld, you are definitely going to hear everything I have to say about Boss Nazdreg tonight. That is our number one topic. That came out of the blue. I am so happy about that. Jason George 7890 just watched our getting ready for 11th video. Very happy with 11 so far. Yeah, I am too. You know, I'm really sad that I missed the Tacoma Open because the top two players, so the last table, were both orcs. One list had no boys, and one list had like 100 boys or something stupid like that, which cancels each other out. You know, it was really, really rad. It would have been awesome to see that battle in person. But I had just gotten back from family stuff and just did not have it in me to do Tacoma Open this year. So on me. Drakenfell wants to know, where do we find the small regular mech model? It's not out yet. So the mini mech that was the older sculpt has gone out of production, and there is a brand new one coming into production that will be available when the codex drops sometime in August. So right now you're not going to find one. Do not overpay for the old one. He's cool, but he's not that cool. And also he doesn't have the new crane arm that the new one has. So you're gonna have to like kind of kit bash that a little bit anyway. So just wait. If you really need one to run on the battlefield, grab yourself a Spanna. That is the stand-in for a knob on the Luda and Berna kit, and he makes an excellent little mech. Man, we got everybody in here tonight. Blissful Badger's on here. How you doing? Death by Chair, Wakashani. Man, you guys are awesome. Sneaky Git is awake to now at 5 a.m. to hear us talking about Nazdreg. Let's go. Yes, and Shady Snakes, thank you for the congratulations. For those of you that missed the last video, I did indeed graduate from college. In fact, my diploma came in today, my degree, whatever you want to call it. There you go. I am officially smirt now. So we're gonna hopefully turn that into something with our business that we got going on, which those of you that are on Patreon know exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you should be on Patreon and then you would know. But yeah, suffice to say, the rest of you will be caught up here in about 11, about 15, 16 days, something like that. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, Wakashani, you are right. That does make 5 clans represented by a special character. So that would be Gazgul with the Goths, obviously, Nazdreg with the Bad Moons. Although realistically, we did have Uthak Blackhawk, who was a Bad Moon. And then you've got Waz. What the heck is the crazy runt herder guy? He was the Snake Bites, and then we had Blood Axes are the sneaky guy, Boss Nazdreg. Who was our 5th one? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, because we're missing our old Bad Moons character. So really, Nazdreg is replacing him. But there was some. The new Speed Freaks one. What am I talking about here? Wazdeka Gutsmack, the Speed Freaks. So those are our 5 again. But yeah, Bad Moons really has had 3 different characters, right? So you've got one that's got discontinued. You've got one that was a limited production, but potentially could come back. And now you have a new one. So Bad Moons have kind of had a rash of characters over the last few years. But yeah, we are still missing a few. Wakshani, it is a master's. I do have a master's degree because I am old and big. So yeah, that's what I'm doing here. Drakenfell was the mech model Finecast. No, he was plastic. In fact, they have him new in the box. I was so busy kit bashing this guy, I never got around to actually building the real one. But there you go. There is the real mini mech. And as you can see, he is plastic. He comes with a wrench or a saw, and then a pistol. Does he have any other? No, that's it. That's his only option is either the wrench or the saw, and then he has to have the pistol. He's not bad. He's not great, but he's not bad. But he was plastic. Don't overpay for this, though. Again, there's a brand new one coming next month. So there's scalpers out there asking crazy prices for this thing. It's not worth it. As soon as the new one comes out, you'll be able to buy this one at a super discount anyway. And really, it's just a fancy Spanna knob. Tesla the Polychromatic. Tell us about Nazdreg. Hold nothing back. Also talk about original Nazdreg. You got it. We are doing that for sure. Erectopus got the old metal Nazdreg from Mindtaker a few months back. I will say, and you guys know, I am a huge fan of the old metal models. I love their quirkiness and everything. Even back then, the Nazdreg was not that great. honestly. So I'm super, super stoked to see new Nazdreg. So let's see here. I'm going to throw a goal up in the chat. We're going to get spicy tonight because I feel like we got a lot to talk about. I missed the last couple of weeks. Well, I only missed last week. The week before we did have a live stream. It was just on I think we did it on Friday, right? Instead of Monday, because we gave away the 2 Armageddon launch boxes. I seem to have acquired a third. Y'all remember Purple Squig, our friend that found this and sent it to the channel. He messaged me and said, "Hey, I got something else for you," and I was really interested. I'm like, "Yeah, like by all means, send me what you got." And this is what he said. And I don't know why he sent this. And Purple Squig, if you were watching, thank you. I did DM you, and I just haven't heard back. But yeah, I got a whole nother sealed Armageddon set, courtesy of Purple Squig. So I'm not sure what he wants me to do with it. So when I hear from him, we'll decide what to go from there. But yeah, it's like literally raining Armageddon around here. But we gave away 2 of them on the live stream. We gave away one, and you guys blew the super chat out of the park. And so I literally went down to my friendly local game store right after the chat ended or the live stream ended and bought a second box because we gave one away and I knew that they had one on the shelf while we were doing it. I was kind of messaging them like, "Hey, hold that for me. I'll be right in." And I was able to meet one of the people actually in person. He's from not close, but not far, driving distance, obviously. And he was coming down to Mindtaker Miniatures anyway. So I met him at Mindtaker Miniatures later on in the week or the following week. And then the other person I did ship out and they did receive it. So we did give away 2 brand new Armageddon boxes in the last live stream. But then, yeah, last week we did miss. So, yeah, we're going to be here for a while. So grab yourself a Red Squig and get settled in because we've got a lot to talk about. Hey, McFadden just graduated from a year of trade school. Let's go. Trade school, man, there is nothing wrong with trade school. You could definitely have a great career and a great life with a good trade for sure. Jalarian Tiger says, "Real cunning with that diploma." Yep, sure am. Oh, what's this about Flash Gets? GW let the Flash boss himself, Nazdreg, let Flash Gets. Oh, he would be strong. He would be strong. Hey, Oxydeep 9404 says that shirt looks sick. Yes, it does. This is our design, our original The Red Ones Go Fasta design by BenBam. You can buy this at theredonesgofasta.com. In fact, I will throw a link in the description below. All of our merch is designed by real, actual, live human beings or orcs, depending, and is made to order wherever you are in the world. We have sold to 18 different countries so far, which is fantastic. And because it's made where you live, you don't have to worry about like tariffs or import duties or anything like that. And you can get it in whatever color and size you want, which is super duper rad. So everybody, check that out right there. The redonesgofasta.com. Get yourself the drip that old Big Mek wears. Oh, yeah, Punch, Mazrog. Back to the 5 characters. Mazrog Scragbad is a snake bite. So the snake bites technically have 2 because old Zodgrod is a snake bite too, isn't he? Right? Yeah, Real Jazeera, I'm with you. Death Skulls definitely need some love. Death Skulls have never really had a good character, at least model on the tabletop for Warhammer 40K. So yeah, that would be something else. Yeah, Sneaky get Dreckenfell. I'm with you. Badrock needs to come back. The old captain himself. Don't get me wrong. I love Nazdreg. I'm so happy we got Nazdreg, but I would love to see Bad Moon more. I would love to see Badrock come back and get old Uthak Blackhawk re-release because that model is sick. The reason why they can't re-release that model. For example, Eisenhorn. They made Eisenhorn, and at first he was really limited and went for a ton of money, and then they made more of him, and then more of him, and then more of him, and he's not actually all that hard to find. And I really hope that they do the same with Uthak. He's had at least 2 production runs now. In fact, mine is from the second go round. So it'd be really nice to see. See that happen. Boy, my internet seems to be not very quality tonight. What is going on with that? Yeah, everything looks fine on here. I wonder. That's weird. All right, well, we'll let the settings go with it, and we'll keep going. Well, Shiny says we need a Death Skull, an Evil Sun, and a Freebooter. Well, we have an Evil Sun in WAAAAGH Gutsmech. Technically, Badruck is kind of a freebooter, even though he's mostly Bad Moon. But I guess he would kind of do that. And yeah, Zagstruck definitely wants back in, and Mad Dog Rotstick too. Everyone's wanting Zagstruck. Oh, here, Nicholas Bouchard, 2715. He's got the goods. Gazgul is Goffs, Ufthak and Nazdreg is Bad Moons, Mazrog for Snake Bites, Snickrot for Blood Axe, Wazdaka for Evil Sons, and then in Legends, Badruck is Freebooters, no Death Skulls, except for you're missing Zodgrad Wurtsnaga, because he is definitely a named character. Oh, McFadden got the orc half of Armageddon for 99 bucks. Dude, that is a steal. That is a steal of a deal. Oh, Death by Chair said a friend of yours found one of the old mechs at Tacoma, bought off of him since I like the sculpt. That was the other reason I was really sad to miss Tacoma Open. And I heard that they were selling some of the new boxes already there, like to start collecting things, which would have been nice. But yeah. Remove Equalizer as whiskey in his pate and stick rot. Let's go. Yeah, Thanatron 117. It is hot work summer, and they have been selling like hotcakes. You guys really have been responding to that one. As you saw in the last video, in the little mini ad spot, I wore the cutoff shirt and the hat to the beach in the summer. It had suns out, guns out. That was a whole lot of fun. No, Nicholas Bouchard, yellow isn't really explodey. Yellow is like flashy. Flashy is different than explodey. Think more like gold teeth. That's what yellow is. That's what kind of flashy they've been. All right, let's get into Nazdreg. I know you guys are all chomping at the teeth for it. I can see a bunch of people on here. Shoot me a thumbs up down there if you want to get into Nazdreg, and we will get him going right now. Let's see. Click the button, share the screen, wait for it to, spend a lot of time doing it. And there we go. That should be it. See if ever, yeah, there we go. All right. So this came out of the blue today from Warhammer community. The biggest bad moon is coming to Warhammer 40K and characters to come to the video games, such as Warhammer 40K Total War, or I guess it's Total War Warhammer 40K. They should have just named it Total Warhammer. See, this is why I have the degree. This is why I'm a marketing genius. Total Warhammer would have made way more sense. Anyways, but him being on the table, nobody saw coming. Nobody. So this is really out of the blue. But you get Nazdreg, Oog, Erdgrub, the galaxy's greatest bad moon, and undisputed second best war boss in the universe. I would dispute that. Nazdreg would dispute that. He is a warlord for a reason. And in the books, including the Gazgul Thraka book, it talks about how Gaz has to basically parlay with Nazdreg in order to obtain the services of Orchimedes in order to do the teleportation things. And depending on which version of lore you're reading, way back in the day, Gaz or Nazdreg got distracted and left Armageddon in his Space Hulk, only to disappear and never be seen again. Other versions had it blowing up and him dying. Obviously, those are false. He's not dead. But yeah, Nazdreg, especially once you get to his data sheet, has something to say about being the second best war boss, right? Yeah, sneaky get. You're absolutely right. Because Nazdreg is in Total War 40K, and for those of you that haven't played the Total War like Warhammer game, like the old school Warhammer, the old world, there's a ton of characters in it. That's kind of like what that game is about, even though it's got a bunch of squads in it. So expect more and more characters to be released for the game, and potentially more and more characters coming to the tabletop, because Games Workshop definitely finally learned their lesson with the whole Captain Titus Space Marine 2 thing. They sold a zillion billion Captain Tituses to the point where they had to make a second different sculpt of Captain Titus within like a year, and have now sold a zillion billion of him. So, yeah, just suffice to say, the tie-ins do sell. There's a reason why, Star Wars toys, right, sell so good is because Star Wars movies, right, like tie them together. Same thing here with video games and tabletop. If you've got a really popular video game, you got to strike with the iron is hot. Get those characters out on the tabletop. You will get people to buy into the tabletop, whether it's buying a few models to paint and throw in their shelf, or buying a whole army and deciding to actually play the tabletop. It makes sense. So, anyways, here is Nazdreg in all of his glory. I really like this sculpt. I think they did a fantastic job actually making him look unique. And we're going to zoom in on him and look at some of the details here. So first of all, the top of his banner has a bad moon on it, a metal bad moon, which is just so sick. I love the paintwork they've done on this with the verdigris to copper fist as well below him. I love that back banners are just coming back as a general thing. We've got a back banner on the DACA rig. We've got back banners on knobs. We've got back banners on war bosses, war lords. You're seeing them on beakies. Back banners used to be like a huge part of Warhammer, and I love seeing them come back. I know there was a hot minute there, probably like I'd say fourth or fifth edition, all the way through like 10th, where it was like, instead of no capes, it was no banners. I love seeing the banners come back. They look so cool on the tabletop. They are a pain in the butt to transport, but it is worth it. Yellow and a fist. No wonder Valrak is switching over to Bad Moons. Absolutely. All right. So, yeah, we got these little exhaust stacks in the back. You've got this right here is a shield generator. You will recognize that particular shape from the Big Mek and Mega Armor, who has the 3 of them on top for his invulnerable save. So, it's cool to see that on here. I love this almost Killican or Death Dread style shoulder armor that they've added to this mega armor. It really like blocks him out and makes him like extra thick and chunky, right? And then we get he's got this little fur cape thing going on here, and then the claw. This claw is substantial. Look at how it's got the serrated teeth inside, the chainsword teeth inside the claw. Like, bro, where have those been forever? This is rad. So yeah, super cool claw. I love the individual like hydraulics on each finger is super cool. Andrew Fishman says, I'm hating the fur cape. Man, do you not know about Bad Moons? Bad Moons are the most ostentatious, money loaded orcs there are. He has to have a cape. Uh, every evil son of a substance should have a cape. It's what makes them them. So, yeah, no, for me, the cape absolutely. Geneva suggestion with the claw. The cape absolutely has to be there. Then you get to his face. Excellent face. Very old school. Got the huge gob. I love the gold caps on the teeth. That is very old school 40K. Love that. And then you've got his gun here. The gun. Oh boy. Okay, first of all, you got a rotary cannon, right? You've got a Scorcha. You've got a double-barreled big shooter. You've got another shooter up here, although it looks like maybe some sort of plasma coil. And then I don't even know what this little like C-hook thing underneath is. This is definitely the custom shooter of all custom shooters. That thing is wild. So yeah, basically we're gonna get into it when we get into his data sheet, but he's basically got 4 ranged weapons there. And that you get to shoot all of them at the same time, which is super duper rad. Oh, Pezler says, I kind of wish he had the chainmail coil for his head like his art. Yeah, I mean, the old school Nazdreg art, as I covered in my Nazdreg lore video, was really great. And that's part of what made the original mini not so great, is the artwork for Nazdreg was absolutely amazing. And then the mini was just kind of like, "Rrr." I would have loved to have seen the Nazdreg like more in that original artwork style. But let's face it, OG Warhammer artwork from back in that day doesn't translate well to the tabletop today. It just doesn't. So they had to change some things in order to make him work on the tabletop today. And what they interpreted, I do really enjoy. So is it perfect? Is it the exact what I want it to be? No, but do I hate it? Also, no. I really like this one. Oh, Disson's No Goot 3319 says, I think GW did a better job on Nazdreg than they did on WAAAAGH. Yeah, I like WAAAAGH, but he's a very awkward model. I don't like the base. I've been on record for that a lot, that I don't like the rock base and how he's got to be flying off of it. I would have much preferred a road and a more normal pose for him, but the actual like model sculpt itself isn't bad. I do like the bike. I do like Wazdaka himself. I love the garrote that's with him. But yeah, the kind of the whole package is a little eh. But yeah. In White Dwarf, we have a focus on the Blood Ravens. Yeah, I imagine an orc themed White Dwarf is definitely coming. For sure. Why is his name on the box, not the full name? Because nobody can pronounce Erdrub. Anyways, yeah, so these are his four ranged weapons here. Then you get down into his mega armor. I love that they painted his pants like blue jeans. That just, I don't know, for some reason that makes me smile. Then he's got his great big armored feet here. Got the traditional bad moon on the left knee, a little skull on the right knee, and of course his tactical rock. And the new basing technique of putting a couple of dead twigs on things. I don't know why Games Workshop does that. I think honestly that looks terrible. But they insist there is Nazdreg in all of his glory. But yeah, so you go down a little bit. The phrase glow up gets thrown around a lot these days, but the new Nazdreg is one glorious update. It has been since second edition. So it's been 9 editions since we had a Nazdreg. So that is a huge difference. Yeah, there's the original there. And like I said, not the greatest model, even like understanding the whole back in the day thing. The face is not the worst of the day, but not the best. The claw isn't terrible. His back banner and the Badman were always great, but the pose leaves a lot to desire. Like just kind of stand there like belly out, kind of sideways. I don't know, man. It's rough, but I do love all the tie-ins. Notice the bad moon on the left knee stays on the left knee. The skull on the right knee stays on the right knee. They even made the skull look like the original skull. You still have the exoskeleton hydraulics going on. The claw is still on the correct side. The eye is on the correct side. Like they did have a lot going here to like really tie it together, which I do really enjoy. So I think that given everything, if they couldn't match the artwork, paying an homage to that OG model and really giving it the 11th edition love looks pretty good. So yeah, his updated DAC is particularly noteworthy. On his right arm, he sports the custom Blasta X. Then he's got his back banner with the Bad Moon still proudly flown. Here's a couple of close-ups of the Bad Moon on the pipe there. Super cool looking Bad Moon. Love the actual banner itself. All right, and then there is our custom Blasta X. Again, you can see there's a Scorcha, there's a rotary cannon, there's a teleporta Blasta, there's a big shooter all on there at once. Frayed wire, which has definitely been the work thing as of late. I did think it was interesting. The frayed wire, normally Games Workshop paints it in the yellow black hazard stripes, but because Nazdreg himself is all yellow and black, they made the wire sheath this like dark red color, which is just kind of interesting. And then there is his snazzy fur robe. I suspect this will be a separate part that you could either glue on or not glue on. We'll have to see. But it does appear to be, molded a little extra. Obviously, you could throw some green stuff on it to turn it into leather or something like that. But Oh, excuse me. Him having a cape is definitely on point. So now here's where it gets interesting, right? Here's where it gets interesting. Andrew Fishman wants to know, what is my Discord name? It's old Big Mek. How have you guys not? We have a Discord. Click on the link. It's in the description. click the button right there that says description, and then click Discord, and then on to, oh, not me. Never mind. That's just me to not read the entire thing. All right. So yeah, so here's where it gets really interesting. Not just the model itself, right? But it says we know, for example, that he has periodically aligned himself with Gazgul Thraka, first on Pacina 4 and later on Armageddon. He's also variously tangled with an assortment of Imperial forces and even enjoyed a shootout with the Farsight enclaves. That makes it sound like Nazdreg is still alive. So that would be huge because, again, in most of the modern lore of Nazdreg, either he died or disappeared, or Gaz double crossed him and killed him. So for him to be alive could be huge. Nazdreg might end up having beef with Gazgul, depending on which form of lore they go with. Hey, Azamak2401, breaking the ice and hearts here, giving us the first of our 20 goals. For those of you that don't know, right there on the screen in the top chat, you'll see there is a goal that says 1 of 20. We are looking for 20 super chats over the next 2 hours of any level. As low as you can go, it still counts. Because what happens is YouTube shares channels based on certain metrics. And one of the metrics we found to be the most important is actually having a chat goal and then meeting it. If you meet a chat goal, it really boosts you in the algorithm, and you see the returns like exponentially as far as people coming into the channel. So if you guys really want to support the channel, that is an excellent way of doing it. And Azamek2401 has the very first one of the 20, and he says, you know what we haven't had yet? A super chat. Have some teeth. Thank you, Azamak. Much appreciated. You guys are amazing. Ooh, the Savmaster says, I just before we get off the model here, Savmaster says, I just want to know if we get an updated Big Mek and Mega Armor, because if not, I'm seeing him as an excellent kit bash. First of all, you should be kit bashing your Big Meks and Mega Armor with the those Terminators that came out a while ago with the giant pauldrons. We had mocked one of those up when we were converting a regular Bad Moon's Knob out of one of those, the Saturnines. That's where I would go anyway. Secondly, I have a feeling that we are about to see a brand new Mega Knob box come out of nowhere and surprise everybody, along with a new Big Mek and Mega Armor, and potentially a new War Boss in Mega Armor. So we're going to be getting into that a little bit later once we get off of Nazdreg. Hey, Crimson Chain there. Was and T for the boss. Let's go. Hoovy Bear, I propose a Grot Ghost Keel Fund. Ooh, wait. Does that mean a Ghost Keel for favorite Grots Tau army, or a fund to get a Ghost Keel to kit bash with Grots for a Grot army on the tabletop? You let me know. Either way, I'm into it. Or do we build a Ghost Keel full of Grots for the Grot? Any of those. And then Wookiee Gunner with first Yarrick and now Nazdreg. Gaz is 0-2 on beating Blot Armor. Woo, yeah, we got some beef to talk about there, for sure. Okay, so here we go. Let's get into it. Nazdreg's data sheet, and again, as I already pointed out in the chat, look at that toughness. He is toughness 7, and for those of you who don't know, Gazgul is toughness 6. That means the undisputed second largest whatever. Yeah, isn't really. Holy cow! Look at that coming in. Clayton Schmeck Pepper 9263 saying, hoping old Zogward comes next. Not Zodgrod Wartsnagger, for those of you that don't know, but old Zogwart, who was an original character for way back in the day. Did we even get? I know we had a model in like Rogue Trader, right? Because he was the greatest of all the Orc Weird Boys. he like destroyed an entire Imperial Guard company or something like that. Where was his model? I don't think he ever had a model though, did he? I don't think old Zogwart ever had, even in Rogue Trader days. I'm furiously searching my old school. Yeah, he never received an official model. So yeah, old Zogwart getting a model would be crazy cool. I don't think we're gonna get one, unfortunately, but I am with you, Clayton. That would be rad. Poetic Terror with an absolutely massive one here. Dude, thank you so much. Says good to catch a stream. Just joined the Discord. Glad everybody, can you everybody right now? All how many of you are watching? There's a bunch of you watching. All 57 of you at the moment. Oh no, it just updated. 64. All 64 of you at the moment. Can everybody go and thumbs up Poetic Terror right there? Look at that man. That funds the channel for like a month right there. That's super duper rad. You guys know this is not my day job. I do have a regular day job, but the channel here, it does have costs. Obviously, we pay for Discord to have an upgraded server, so all of you can be on. Over 1,100 of you now, and have unlimited uploads and all that kind of stuff, voice communications, the whole works. We do cover that from the channel. Obviously, I have to upgrade my internet to have better upload speeds and be able to do live streaming stuff. We have lighting, we have camera rigs, we have computers, we have software with live streaming software on it, all that kind of stuff. It all adds up, but I only run it off of things in the channel. So if the channel does great, we upgrade the channel. If the channel doesn't do great, we don't upgrade the channel. It's also not how I get the stuff for my personal army, but how I get the stuff for giveaways and making videos. So those every kit is an orc kit, kit bash videos, things like that. Stuff that is just here for YouTube for you guys, comes from you guys. So I super duper appreciate it. And those of you that don't know, we have a very, very special, very big project that is about to break cover. In fact, that is our goal tonight. If we reach all 20 super chats, we will make sure to kick any GW peoples out of the room and kind of give you a little sneak peek behind the scenes look at what's going to come in about 15 days. And when I say it's earth shattering, I'm not being facetious. So, yeah, if you want to be a big part of that, we do have a founder tier on Patreon for that. First of all, I just want to say the ones that have been founders, you guys are amazing. You've been helping us get to this point. We have spent over 4 figures in TEEF already on getting that set up. This is a significant investment. We do have a business license. Everything is above board. Everything is on the up and up because that's what we're trying to build here. And basically what I've been saying is if you remember old school GW when it was owned by the people that worked there and was like counterculture punk rock, and they wanted you to make models out of toothpaste tubes and deodorant sticks and terrain out of garbage and foam, just have fun with your friends. And White Dwarf featured more than just Citadel miniatures. We're hoping to make that again. And you can be an actual literal part of that with your name in those books and those publications and some special drip gear that is only going to be available for those people. So, you guys, I've said a zillion times here on the channel that we don't gatekeep or lock anything on the channel itself behind any kind of paywall. This is not that. This is building something big, building something by hobbyists for hobbyists. And if you want to be like an actual part of that, you definitely have those options. So yeah, here we go. Ooh, where do we got here? Oh, so Travis is talking about finding a friendly local game store where he could start Warhammer. And a lot of people are congratulating him on that and talking about their own friendly local game stores. and how great they are. And you guys know I love me a friendly local game store. I even did a video last October where I went to every friendly local game store in my area, like in my county, and like purposefully looked at all the Warhammer and bought something from every one of them. And I love that. That was my most favorite video to make ever. I would love to do that again. And I would love to do that to go over the river. I live over the river from a giant, not a giant city, but a big city, a good sized city that has quite a few game stores, some that are of some renown. And I would love to travel to all those. In fact, I'd love to travel over the country, if not the world, and go to friendly local game stores and film there and support them and turn that into a thing. Um, Believe me, if I had unlimited YouTube budget, that is exactly what I would do. There is a guitar channel, really big guitar channel, like we're talking millions of subscribers. That's what he does. He goes to mom and pop music stores and tries all their guitars and buys something. And he does it all for free. And it super boosts those stores in their community because you'd be surprised the number of people that are musicians or whatever, and they don't know about a local store, some little hole in the wall, mom and pop, been there, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. The person doesn't know that they exist. And this platform, spreads the word and the small business thrives. I would love to do that for game stores. That is our ultimate goal. We'll see. We'll get there. We'll get there one store at a time. Oh, Stratista 56 says Dash Drag is already up on Mini Compare. Mini Compare is great. It is not entirely accurate though. What they do is they look at the thickness of the base, and then they adjust the size. The problem is you'll notice a lot of Games Workshop photography is not using a regular lens. They do have some distortion to it to make the Mini look better. On the 2D screen. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not like trickery or anything like that. It's just photography. But sometimes what that does is that warps the size of things because of the lens. So you really got to wait for the actual model to come out before you go with official sizes. We saw that with the DACA rig, for example. In the live stream for Armageddon before it was released, when they first showed us the DACA rig, they put it on the table next to a Def Dread. And people took that screenshot, kind of extrapolated, it ended up being off by a couple millimeters. So just FYI, something to think about. Aiden's boy says, when I say, or it's Earth Shattering, Red Squig branded Jackhammer confirmed. I would love, Red Squig to Jackhammer. That would be an all-time great. I will do my best to work on that. Absolutely. Might not be earth shattering, but we'll probably carve a 1,000-mile scar in it. Yeah, something like that. Dirt Hermit definitely knows what we're on about. Okay, so data sheet. Oh man, and then McFadden comes in here with the super chat. Thank you so much, McFadden. You are amazing. Says my orc army is a mismatch of a few walkers, a couple trucks, a few knobs, 10 to 30 boys in Armageddon. Any suggestions on detachments besides Warhorde? Well, first of all, we don't know all the detachments yet or how they're all going to work yet because you don't have the whole codex yet. So you're kind of going on incomplete information. Warhorde has traditionally been the best, not because the detachment is any good, but because it's had the best rules. So not necessarily the enhancements, but the actual stratagems. Now that the stratagems have all changed, that's kind of going out the window. If you've got 10 to 30 boys and Armageddon, which is another 20 boys, that's a pretty decent amount of boys. Green Tide would probably be pretty good. You do have, a couple of walkers plus the walker in Armageddon. You definitely don't have enough speedy stuff to do any of the speed freak stuff. I don't know that you have enough walkers to do Dread Mob. There are a couple of the new sneaky ones. I forget their names, but there was the one that was kind of Blood Axe based that seemed to be really good. That one could be a good option for you as well. What I would do, McFadden, is I would focus on right now. The only rules we have the complete version of is in the Armageddon launch box. You have the rules for like the Armageddon version of Combat Patrol. I would make sure you have all of those models built and painted, and I would learn how to play the stratagems in that because regular 40K is going to build off of that. So for right now, just focus on that. You've only got maybe 4 weeks left before the Orc Codex gets here. So it's not a whole lot of time anyway. I mean, even if you were a prolific gamer and play a game a week, you're going to get like what, 4, maybe 5 games in before that codex comes out, and you really have to worry about a detachment. So putting like a ton of thought and energy into it at the moment might not be the best idea because again, we have an incomplete picture until that codex drops. But I would definitely be looking at Green Tide. You don't have enough knobs for Bully Boys or anything like that. But yeah, then there was that detachment for the Blood Axes that was pretty good. Oh, hey, Drakenfell has a shout out for us. If you guys have an FLGS that you want to shout out, absolutely throw it in the comments. Even do a link if you've got a link to their, if they've got like a web store or website. I would love to hear about it. Drakenfell is calling out TBS Comics in Pensacola, Florida, and Fort Walton Beach in business. They take very good care of him by ordering every model he asks about. Shout out to them. That is awesome. If I'm ever in Pensacola, I will definitely make it a point to go look up TBS Comics. Jojo says mini orcs are sold out in Japan. Mini orcs are sold out everywhere. Again, we have a brand new codex and a whole bunch of brand new models coming in a month. So all of the old models that they're getting rid of or are reboxing have gone out of stock. Just be patient. There are plenty of orcs to build right now. Have you even finished painting your Armageddon yet? I haven't. Blissful Badger's been working on it for like 30 days straight. He hasn't either. So, you know, focus on what you've got and just be patient. There is going to be a massive amount of works on the shelves very, very, very soon. Tactical Brigade. Thank you, Wekshani. That was the one I was trying to remember the name of. Tactical Brigade. Hey, Sneaky Get, thank you for the super chat. Sneaky Get says, okay, now I want to know, so I have to contribute to goal. Also, are you planning another challenge like New Year, New Army, maybe for October? Absolutely. We've talked about this a couple of times. We haven't like made it official with rules or anything yet, but I can tell you exactly what we're going to do. You guys all know that the my favorite thing that Games Workshop had used to do, which was Armies on Parade, has been canceled. There is no official Games Workshop Armies on Parade for 2026, which is awful. To me, that was one of the best things that they did, and they especially finally got it right with separating just armies from armies on display boards, and then also having like a competition for teams and a competition for youths, your young bloods, and then having the regular. I thought that setup was really excellent. It is not happening, and that Armies on Parade has always been in October. So much like some other things, we are going to steal it and loot it from Games Workshop and make it our own. So we are doing Armies on Parade in October 2026. So the whole goal is to get your whole army out on parade, fully painted, fully dressed, fully based, ready to go. Now, obviously, if you already have an army built and painted, there's not a whole lot to do. But again, just like Games Workshop did, we're going to have two different versions. There's going to be the army on its own, and then there's going to be the army with a display board category. So putting out all of your terrain, building a giant display board, whatever the case may be, those are going to be the two categories. We're going to have excellent giveaways to go with it, and a fantastically fun time. So that is what we're going to do. It takes a lot, guys. I don't know if you know this, but to get an army, even from like tabletop standards to being fully dressed for Armies on Parade, takes a ton of work. Going through your army, making sure everything is uniform, making sure all of your base designs are the same and fully based, making sure that your army is like fully legal and you don't have any proxies or any holdups or any like incomplete squads. That is like a thing. So this is going to be a very, very fun contest. McFaston says, turns out building based on kit bash ideas gives you a schizophrenic army you knew. Oh, Poetic Terror says, Old Big Mek, love your vids. Glad I could support. I'm currently basing my knobs in 40 millimeter and getting the rest of the knobs with 3 big guns. It's only 18 mobs to do. You're a brave man doing your knob squads right now because their loadouts are going to change. But I definitely support getting your knobs for your boy squads on the 40s. In fact, that is one of my future videos. It's going to be all the different ways that you can rebase a model. So we're going to cut off a base and go on a new one. We're going to do a double stack base. We're going to do a base extender and kind of all that stuff and really look at that. So that's going to be a super fun video that I am currently working on in the background. Hey, Travis Bedwell is in Pensacola, just like Drakenfell. So that's really cool. Remove Equalizer says Thunderground Comics in St. Albert, Alberta, Canada. Awesome store. Man, I would love to visit Alberta. So that one will have to go on the list as well. We got Level Up Gaming in Pensacola. Jer Hermit says, I got my Armageddon primer. You're doing better than me. Here is my Armageddon. Beskrat and I got it built, and then we left. We went out of town to go visit family. And yeah, we've been gone. So they're not even primered, let alone painted. So yeah, I got a lot of work to do on my Armageddon boys for sure. And then yeah, like I said, then more Armageddon keeps showing up. Nicholas Bouchard said, "Is basing necessary for tournaments?" Yes, yes, it is. So tournaments now, again, keep in mind there are tournaments that are done like by friendly local game stores, and then there are tournaments that are like official Games Workshop tournaments, and they do have different rules. A lot of your friendly local game store ones are a lot more casual, a lot more laid back, but in general, the even just like a standard tournament, not even like a full blown Games Workshop grand tournament, just a standard regular tournament, your army has to be what's called tabletop ready. And Games Workshop has defined tabletop ready as at least 3 different colors and full basing. Now, obviously, you could base whatever style you want. If you've got desert like me, if you've got, really intricate, lava fields or people that do like busted city bases and stuff like that, like whatever type of basing doesn't matter, but it does have to be based, even if that basing is literally goblin green and some static grass. You've got to have basing, and you've got to have at least 3 different colors on your army. How they do that is you actually have a composition score as part of your scoring. So if you show up with an army that isn't to tabletop standard, you are missing out on critical points for the overall score. And yes, people have literally like gone into tournaments and like won all their games and then lost the overall tournament win because they did not have those things done and they did not score those points. So you definitely want to make sure you have at least 3 different colors on all of your models and you have your full basing done in order to be actually legally tabletop ready. I also find that it just looks better, period. Like when you're collecting an army, when you put all of your fully painted stuff out on a board and then you mix in all your stuff that isn't fully done, you really get that difference in feeling of like, whoa, this army is really cool to like, man, this army could use a bunch of work, right? So yeah, definitely you're going to want to do that. Metal Skull, I have primed 1 grot so far. Perfection. I love it. Oh, Drakenfell says, shout out to gamers and gifters in Defuniak Springs. Oh, man. Sad to see that they are struggling to sell their stock. Nicholas Bouchard says, well, I got to learn to base with the mini glue to it. That's how I do it. I glue my minis to my bases, all of them, no matter what their basing is, and then I base them. What I do is I paint the base in a color that my basing material is going to be. I like using the acrylic paste stuff from AK Interactive with a little metal like spreader knife thing. You can kind of spread it out on there. You don't have to get the whole thing because it'll like dry and crack and do kind of things and look cool. And you put a couple of static grasses on there and you're good to go. The big thing is you want to make sure that you either paint your base rim like the same color as your basing material. That's what I like to do, or paint it like black or brown or something like that to really finish it off. You do not want to leave it bare black plastic. If you want it to be black, at least paint it black. It does make a difference. Distance no goot. Can you paint the base black? If it's just straight black, you're gonna get called out, man. It's honestly, basing is part of wargaming. If you don't like basing, go play Star Wars Legion. They come with pre-colored bases that have junk on them that you can't paint over anyway. I mean, that's part of the fun of Warhammer 40K. Pick a basing scheme and go with it. Let's see, McFadden here with work in progress. 2 Beaky chapters, Chaos Space Marines, Orcs, Demons, Help. Them are rookie numbers. You got to pump them numbers up. Pump them numbers up. You don't have at least 5 different Imperial Guard regiments sitting around your workspace. Come on, what are you even doing with life? I'm obviously being facetious. I have the worst track record with getting literally anything finished, as you guys well know. These particular guys have been sitting right here next to this live streaming setup for the better part of 2 months now, and I haven't done anything with them because I keep getting distracted like a squirrel with ADHD, and I'm building new stuff over there and buying things. And yeah, you know, you watch the videos, you guys know. Yeah, Andrew Fishman's got a good thing there for basing. Honestly, the best, easiest basing, Best Grot and I do this for his army. He paints his base rim a sand color, and we have a literal bucket of sand. It's just a bucket of sand. And we put, Elmer's glue on top of the base, and we dunk the guy in the sand and pull it out. And then the glue dries, and then he has sand on his base and a sand colored rim. And he might put a tuft or two on there if he feels like it, but I think even the ones he's put on have fallen off. Doesn't matter. The sand base honestly looks fantastic. It looks great. Sometimes his bases come out better than mine. So yeah, just get yourself some sand, some dirt. Not dirt. Sand works way better than dirt. You want sand or like small little teeny tiny bubbles of rocks. Do fantastic. Super duper easy to base. Barely an inconvenience. Oh, the Big Dog says, yes, James Workshop. I will have the nostalgia bait. Yes, just took it in my veins. Thank you. They've been into the nostalgia hard. Absolutely hard. For sure. Okay, we keep getting distracted. Let's get back to Nazdreg's data sheet here. So first of all, toughness higher than Gazgul. That is a huge thing. And another little feather to put in my cap where I keep saying, hey, I think Gazgul is going to get a new model. Maybe not with the Codex, but at some point in 11th edition, we are going to see a new Gazgul model. And I'm sticking to that. I really think we're going to get it. Oh, yeah. Shady Snakes. This is a good one. I've seen this. So Shady Snake says, if y'all are looking for easy mega knobs for Nazdreg to lead, check out the Mechanicum Myrmidons. He posted a pic on Discord. Dude, they are sick. They look so good. They're blocky like the current mega knobs, but yeah, just way more modern, way taller, and they work with the orc head and the orc weapons like so good. Like, don't get me wrong, the Terminators that we did, like, they're very cool, but they're very old school looking, right? And so if you're not into the old school, it's not as fun. If you like the way current works look, if you like the way current 40K looks, if you like the chunk, these Mechanicum guys are absolutely on point. So yeah. Anyways, but yeah, I think we're getting a new Gazgul, and not just a new data sheet. I really do think we're going to get a new Gazgul model. I know he's not that old in the scheme of things, but Games Workshop has figured out that the one thing that they can kind of redo at a much shorter time frame and people will still buy without question is characters, as long as the character sculpt is cool. Obviously, they've had a couple of stinkers, Inquisitor Cortez, anybody, but all in all, their characters have been knocking it out of the park. I mean, honestly, look at how many times they've redone Marneus Calgar. I know it's a meme, but every time they redo him, he does look cooler and they sell more of him. So they've been applying that to the rest of the ranges. And you're really seeing things get re-released, such as like Yarrick, right? Old Baelai himself. He was dead and gone. They were done with him. He was out of the lore and everything. And in between orc players going, hey, what the heck? You got to give us old Baelai. And Imperial Guard players going, wow, you killed like the most important Imperial Guard character in the history of Warhammer off screen. Like, what the heck? But also, just mini sales, man. So they make a new mini, and even though he's not the greatest, most inspired mini, he's solid enough, and they sold a zillion of them. I mean, I should know, right? Like I couldn't resist. I had to buy them too. This is how they separate you from your money. So Gazgul there, he's been out since before COVID, which is the before times. So he's really, really old. Us getting a new Gazgul makes a ton of sense, but also just again reading the lore, in the Brutal Cunning War Boss, Big Daka, trilogy, the Gaz Thraka book, the Mad Dot Grotstick book, and even all the stuff that came out with Armageddon. Gaz nowadays is like way significantly huger than he is as that model, because that model is how he was reattached and re-put back together after Ragnar Wolfmane or whatever he is, the Space Wolf guy, cut his head off. And so he's not actually all that big. I know it's a chunky model, but he's not all that big in that model. So, and that's reflected in the data sheet, right? Toughness 6, right? He's not all that tough. But yeah, look at all the other stuff Boss Nazdreg does here, Warlord Nazdreg does here. So first of all, let's talk about abilities. Intimidating motivation. Once per battle round per army in your movement phase at the start of or end of this unit's move, you can select a friendly Oryx unit within 6 inches. They're no longer battle shocked, and they are now riled up till the start of your next turn. So not only are you taking somebody out of battle shock, you are putting them in that like supercharged riled up phase so they can go do more damage. So that is really excellent. A lot of people kind of have overlooked that, but that can be really strong, especially late game. Think about, really important objective scoring or objective denying. If you've got a unit that's been battle shocked, and there's a lot of things that do like automatic battle shocks these days, right? Like being able to get them out of that and get them like prepped and ready to like go zap stuff, to score those points or deny those points is serious. Then there's Nazdreg's know what. So first of all, he has deep strike. Again, that's he's got that ability. And then his ranged attacks have ignores cover. And you guys have seen all the ad nauseum stuff online about people arguing over line of sight and cover, because cover is so important in 11th edition. So just being able to ignore the cover completely is a super huge rule. And then you get Supreme Cunning, and this is the one. So once per phase per army. So not battle round, per phase. So command phase, your movement phase, your shooting phase, your assault phase, your painting phase, your leadership phase, your psychic phase. I don't even know how many phases 40K has anymore, but I know it's a lot. Actually, I do have the rule book right here. How many phases do we have these days? That is an excellent question. Basic rules. Battle shock, yada yada yada, moving, slip up in disperse. There's phases. There we go. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 official phases. Because start of turn is not a phase, it's a step. Then you have command phase. So that's when you do your strategic resources and your unit's morale. So if you've got something you can do there. You've got movement phase, you've got shooting phase, you've got charge phase, which is a phase in and of itself, and fight phase. Now, the interesting thing is because it's per phase and not just your phase, it's also your opponent's phases. And that's where it gets interesting. So it says in your opponent's movement phase, when the enemy unit ends a move within 8 inches of this unit, they can make a normal move of up to D6, or if they are already riled up, which, hey, remember, intimidating motivation, you can have one already riled up. They can make a normal move of up to 5 inches. You can ignore the D6. So what this allows you to do is basically screen in response. You can shift a unit over or in front of somebody out of the way to keep them from getting at something more valuable. You can shift your guys onto an objective or a second squad onto an objective to really contest it or hold it. There's all sorts of shenanigans you can do with this kind of stuff that can actually win you a game based on those victory points instead of just killing things. I know it's not as fun, but it is definitely cunning. Okay, so now let's talk about the ranged weapons. You've got the custom Blasta X Gatler with hazardous, the custom Blasta X Shooter with lethal hits, and the custom Mega Blasta X Scorcha. Um, and if you notice down here to the bottom under unit composition, it says that he's got one custom Blasta X and one Moonshua. And it says that his custom Blasta X weapon has 3 separate ranged weapons profiles, each of which can be selected to make attacks with. This is huge. Everything else in 40K that's not a vehicle can only shoot with one weapon at a time. Like you have to pick what you're doing. Nazdreg doesn't pick. Nazdreg does all the DACA all the time. So you've got that Gatler. It's a 24-inch range, 6 attacks. Notice the ballistic skill, right? That's great for an orc. A 4-up ballistic skill is fantastic. Strength 9, AP -2, damage 3. That's going to put some Marines in the ground. Then you've got the actual shooter, 18-inch, strength 4. Again, BS 4-up, strength 5, AP -1, damage 1. That can take out, Imperial Guardsmen, maybe some Eldar Guardians, something like that. Your inquisitorial Navy troopers, those kind of things. And then you got the Scorcha. Obviously, that's your old school blast weapon. Man, I wish they'd bring templates back. But 12-inch range, attack 3, noblest skill because auto hits, which is also excellent for Overwatch. If you're going to do Overwatch, it's an auto hit so that it automatically works. Although strength 5, AP -1, 1 damage, you're not going to do a whole lot, but at least it is a guaranteed hit. And then you have the melee weapons. So first of all, the custom Blasta X is an extra attack because again, normally you can only use one melee unless you have special rules. Although there are a lot more units and leaders and whatnot that have those special rules in 40K than shooting. But the extra attack has cleave, which is that new thing that the big 2-handed choppas have. That's really powerful. 6 attacks, again, fantastic. 2 up on the weapon skill, strength 5, AP -1, 1 damage. And then you've got the actual melee weapon in the Moonshua. That is the name of his power claw. Still has cleave, which is interesting that a power claw has cleave. We're not even sure what power claws are going to do yet because none of the Armageddon kits and none of the other kits that have come out so far have had a power claw yet. They've shown us pictures, right? Like there's a power claw with the bikers, there's a power claw with the new multi-part boys, but we haven't seen a data sheet or anything like that to let us know how they're going to work. So Moonshua having cleave is very interesting. It's also twin linked. You get 5 attacks, 2 up to hit, strength 12. You want to talk about a Moonshua? He can literally chew through a Gorkanaut. AP -2, 3 damage. That is a fantastic melee thing. So what you've got here is a data sheet that's really strong, right? You've got excellent toughness, a 2-up save, a 5-up invul, 8 wounds, 6 up on the leadership. He does have objective control. He's got massive ranged weapon abilities. I mean, he's basically a unit in and of himself as far as ranged weapons go. Massive melee. And then those special rule abilities that allow you to reposition multiple units multiple times per turn. This guy is absolutely wild. Istithar says in Australia, shoot is correctly pronounced as shoey, which is when you drink a beer from your boot, especially after you win a race. My man Mark Webber used to be famous for that one, and no, not Mark Webber. Who was the second guy that did Red Bull F1? Has the big smile all the time. My brain is not working tonight. But yes, doing a shoey after you win a race is definitely a thing. All right. So yeah, once again, Custom Blasta X has 3 shooting profiles, and unlike most combi-style weapons, he can fire all 3 at once, and he hits on a 4-up, and he can shoot it in combat. Wait, he could shoot it in combat? What? That must be the cleave extra attack thing, not actually shooting it. But yeah, you can also let his unit deep strike, which is incredibly good. You can make nearby units auto pass battle shock, has reactive move, ignores cover, and makes the unit riled up. Meaning they act as if the WAAAAGH has been called that turn. That is new. We haven't been seeing that yet, so that is pretty rad. But yeah, basically he's great. And then here is Nazdreg in the game. You can see he does look a little different in the game than he does on the tabletop, just because they have to make him move around. But he is very similar You got the moon on the left knee, you got the skull on the right knee, you got his great big giant, quad shooter thing. You got his power claw with the chain swords inside of it. You got the little fur cape there. Basically, you get his custom force field generator is a little bit bigger there, but other than that, he is good to go there in Total War. He looks fantastic. But yeah, he will be released alongside Codex Orcs in a few weeks' time. So, questions about Nazdreg, guys, throw them in the chat. We also need 9 more super chats at some point to get to our goal tonight, which would be extra super duper appreciated. Although we are still rolling in the deep from the donation from our friend Poetic Terror. So, yeah, absolutely crazy. Oh, I see 30 thumbs up there. That means over half of you gave him a thumbs up. I see 64 of you still, 67 of you online. If you could, oh, there we go. I saw 8 more pop in. Thank you guys. Yeah, Poetic Terror definitely deserves that, guys. All right. So, questions about Nazdreg. We've seen the model, we've seen the data sheet. Distance no good says that's a teleport blast on Nazdreg's head, not a custom force field. I don't know. It looks like oh no, yeah, I guess the custom force field generator is the one with the towers, isn't it? Yeah, you guys are right. You're right. That's the teleport blasta. I get confused because the teleport blasta that the Big Mek, the regular Big Mek has, doesn't look like that. In fact, as always, he's within arm's reach because all my crap is within arm's reach. Ugh. It's right here. That is a teleport blasta. That doesn't look anything like what Nazdreg has. So yeah, that's why I keep saying custom force field generator. Plus, this is your shock jump teleporter on the Big Mek, which again also doesn't look anything like what Nazdreg has. Not that orcs are the most uniform of makers. But yeah, it's a gubbin. It's a gubbin. Oh, Sadmaster says that is the tractor cannon. Ah, I got you. I got you. Oh, Andrew Fishman says a Death Skull's biggest mech would be more appropriate. Yeah, honestly, having a named Big Mek character that is a Death Skull would definitely be cool. That's what orcs are really missing. They don't have any named Big Mechs. Obviously, if they did Orchimedes, he would be a Bad Moon. So that would be a little difficult. Yeah, see the lighting. The lighting. Scott, let me adjust the lighting in. It's orange and purple outside. I don't know that helped. We're back to having rings on the eyes, so I guess we'll be able to not read for a little while. We'll squint at the at the things here. There we go. So Punch 7724 wants to know, is Nazdreg like Mazrog where you can build him into a normal character? That is an excellent question, and we do not know the answer to that yet. However, I would be shocked if that was true. So for those of you that don't know, Mazrog Scragbad, which is a special character, Snakebite, he's a big boss, beast boss guy on a Squigosaur. You can actually build that kit 2 different ways. You can build him, or you can build a beast boss on Squigosaur out of the same kit. There are a couple other kits that are double like that. The Lees of Otan have a guy that is like generic or the special character. There's a few of the new old world minis that are like that. So it's definitely a thing that Games Workshop has been doing. However, Wazdaka Gutsmech is not like that. You cannot build him into a regular war boss on Warbike. He can only be built as a special character. And looking at all of the details on this model, I think that's going to be the same. He's only going to be able to build as Nazdreg. So one and done. I mean, obviously, you could use them as a basis for a kit bash, but out of the box, no, you're not going to be able to build a generic from him. Rectopus wants to know what size base should I put my metal Nazdreg on. Did you not see that size comparison? The metal Nazdreg comes up to like new Nazdreg's kneecap. That's not going to work. Because it's not just base size. Remember, guys, when you do conversions, when you do kit bashes, when you turn things into the new versions, you need to not just have the footprint, but you need to have the basic outline too. Because, like for example, the Big Mek here, look at how much space he takes up on the tabletop, right? Looking at him. You need to have this similar outline if you're going to kit bash one of these. So you can't put a tiny little model like an OG Gazgul on a giant base and be like, oh, it's Gazgul on a pile of skulls. He doesn't take up the same amount of space. He's going to be able to hide behind terrain a lot easier because 40K is true line of sight, and that's not okay. So when you're kit bashing, when you're moving old minis onto newer bases, make sure they actually take up the same amount of girth standing up as they do on the base. All right, we got another super chat here. This one is from Istathar, who wants to know, I'm a relatively new work player. Welcome to the WAAAAGH. Only just started collecting, enjoying the aesthetic. Kids think they're hilarious. Should I buy the current Gazgul model or no? I get nostalgic appeal for others. That is an excellent question. I'm going to grab my Gazgul while we talk about it. Oh, where is you? Right there. Now, there's a reason why I wanted to grab Gazgul, and that is basically to show him off. This kit, honestly, is one of the greats, one of the all-time greats. I love this model. So when I say that there's like a new Gazgul coming, it's not like I don't like this model. It's not like I think it needs to be replaced. This model is the business. I still personally prefer the metal third edition Gazgul for just sheer pose, but like overall model, nobody can deny that this guy isn't the greatest. The cool thing about him is you could actually build him two different ways. So you could see mine, he's leaning into the big shooter and he's looking that direction. You can also build him where he's leaning the other way, where he's leaning toward the claw. You can also, he comes with two different heads, and the other head is looking the other direction. It's looking toward the claw instead of toward the gun. So you actually get two different designs out of Gazgul here, which makes it very fun and interesting when you see different ones built and painted and whatnot, because that different pose actually does a lot for their theming. But I love the little smoke coming out of the big shooters as well as the the line of ammo. I love the power claw and just how big and gnarly it is. I love the engine in the back. This V8 cut down engine thing is super rad. I think this is an excellent model. Even if this gets replaced, owning one just to have it in your collection and put it up, in your display case, I think is a worthwhile investment. The other thing is like, who knows, like, you might be able to proxy him as something else at some point, but just on a model alone, I love him as a model. And so personally, I would get him just because I think every orc player should have one because he is that cool. Also, come to think about this, you could pick up this newer Gazgul, right? The new Wazdeka Gutsmek, and now the new Nazdreg, and have three ginormous centerpiece models for your orc collection, all from different clans. That would look awesome in your display case, right? Right there, that would look killer, right? Like who wouldn't want to look at that all the time and just be like, yeah, that's sweet, right? So, I mean, for that alone, even if he gets retired, even if a new one comes, he's still super worth it. I mean, I'll put it this way. Best Grot has, current Marnius Calgar, as in the last one before the new one. He saw the new one. He really wants the new one too. He doesn't want to get rid of the old one. He had the one before that too. He had the Finecast one too. He kind of want. I mean, he doesn't want the one sitting on the throne. the Calgar going number 2 is not his favorite, but the other three he really likes. So even him, he's wanting to collect multiple of the same model. Hold on a second, guys. I got a squig problem. I'll be right back. Everybody talk to Gazgul. Pretend he's on the stream. All right. Squid problem dealt with. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I missed a super chat here. Hopefully that answered your question, Istithar. Drakenfell says, I read that alt work bosses were getting increased toughness to be comparable to Space Marines. Gazgul should be the toughest as the first Primarch. He is not the first Primarch, but he's definitely the closest thing we have to a current Primarch. And I do agree his toughness definitely needs to go up. Even if he gets a new data sheet, that would be fantastic because all the new stuff that's come out, his data sheet has been a little overpowered, underpowered now. But again, I do see them making a new model, even as cool as this one is. It's been a while, and it's an easy money print. Put him on a big tactical rock. Yeah. Let's see. Defluse and Nashes wants to know any ideas for a vintage metal Nazdreg Oog Grub. Okay. I'm of two minds about vintage stuff. Now, keep in mind, I am not a new in the box collector. You guys have personally witnessed me open super rare sealed stuff without a qualm in the world. To me, minis should be built painted on the battlefield. But when it comes to vintage stuff, I'm of two different minds. There is some vintage stuff that can be updated and continue to be used in your army, especially if that stuff has personal significance to you. For example, you guys all saw in the last video my war boss from Assault and Black Reach. That guy is my OG original war boss. He is from my Assault and Black Reach set from 5th edition starter. He was the first war boss I built for my first orc army. He commanded my orc army. He went to my brother. He got sent back to me. He has been around forever. He is never leaving. And even though he is too small to be a war boss today, he has become a big boss, and that's okay. He is okay with bigger bosses having coming in. He still has a place in the WAAAAGH. He's still going to continue to crump. There are definitely places in your army for models like that you can either update and change base sizes and keep them going, or mix them in with your squads and stuff. A good example I have for that is war bikers. I have a couple of the OG Gorka Morka style war bikes in my war biker squads. I believe one I have pretty much out of the box, and I have the other two have been like chopped up and converted with pieces of the current bikers, which are about to go away, just to kind of mix them in there. But it looks right? Like orcs look so good when they're all modeled in like that. I've got some metal mega armor knobs that until mega armor gets changed are still around and kicking. I have a metal pain boy still in my army. I have a I guess he's a mad dog actually from way back in the day. I've got a metal what are the guys that come on brain runt herd. I've got a metal runt herd in my army, right? Like I have so many vintage models that have upscaled, repainted, slight conversions, and they keep going. I also now have in my collection here a number of vintage models that you just can't do that with anymore. And it's not that they don't deserve it or whatnot. It's just, it's 11 editions, man. Warhammer has been around a long time, right? And much like, your high school girlfriend or boyfriend, might not have aged the best compared to your current one, right? So same kind of thing. There's some vintage models that just they're too small, they're too weird, they're too difficult to turn into anything. And if you try to proxy them as something else, right? So like taking a Rogue Trader era character and using them as like a Little Mac or a Pain Boy or something, it looks off, right? Like why do they have a power claw? Why do they have a huge banner? Why do they look like they're in mega armor, but they're this big? When it gets to the point where it's too hard to use them as what they are, and it's too hard to proxy them as something else. What I am preferring to do these days is build them, paint them, love them in the style they originally intended. 25mm slotted base, goblin green. And I just kind of have a small collection of them. And it's kind of getting to the point where I almost want to build a vintage army, like a 2nd edition or 3rd edition, all 25mm base army. and just have it be legal for those rules only and not even worry about ever using them in a modern game. So if it were me, if I had a Boss Nazdreg laying around right now, I can honestly say I would build him and paint him in Bad Moon Yellow on a 25 millimeter slot base with a Goblin Green basing scheme, and I would put him right there in that display case next to my Bad Moon's, Mega Armor Knob that is done the exact same way. And maybe eventually I'd have enough guys that I could do like a kill team with them or something like that, but have them all be OG vintage. So there's nothing wrong with leaving a vintage model vintage and just enjoying it for what it was. You don't have to update everything. And obviously, it's going to be on a case by case basis. It's going to depend on the model itself. It's going to depend on you and like what your thoughts and feelings are on it, and whether or not you can get away with it or what you can do with it, things like that. Another really cool idea or example that I could give for that would be to use him not as an individual model, but as base candy. So, for example, my Stampa up there, he's yellow. He's not supposed to be yellow. He's supposed to be red. I haven't been able to bring myself to repaint him. I didn't paint him. I got him fully built and painted from somebody getting out of the hobby, and I repainted everything else, and I left one thing in the original scheme. And I don't know. I've had this kind of block about painting, but I digress. If I had a vintage Nazdreg, what I would do is I would plop him in that Stompa model up on the top, right on the head, in the day, whatever, and have Nazdreg commanding the Stompa. That would be super cool because he's never going to go on the battlefield as Boss Nazdreg. But hey, Boss Nazdreg commanding his Stampa, commanding his army, that checks out. I definitely think that would be super cool. I do have an old school metal mech that I have laying around specifically to do that for either this Stampa when I ever repaint him, or a brand new Stampa if I ever build a brand new one. So that's what I would say. Diffuse to the ashes. Yeah, Andrew Fishman, exactly. OG Gaz and a Gorkanaut. OG Gaz looks fantastic as a statue, also. My original one that I had stripped the paint and then repainted and then stripped it again and gave away a couple of Octobers ago. He used to live on top of like a giant walker as a statue, or was used on terrain. Actually, he was my big at boss bunker. So I painted him like bronze or something like that, put some verdigris on him, and then stuck him in the Big Ed Boss bunker as like a statue. Really cool to do something like that, right? Oh, looks like I got a couple more here. Mick Fatson, thank you so much. Firstborn Marine Army would be so rad. I have done a Firstborn Marine Army in the post Primaris era, and it was a lot of fun. I was building Blood Angels. I got a little confused though because I built some of them like 30K Heresy style, and then I built a Death Company for them, and then I realized that Death Company didn't exist in 30K, and not a whole lot of people were playing Mid Hammer yet. So it kind of didn't really go for much, but that is the army that I sold to buy my Beast Snag army box up there. That was way back at the very, very start of the channel. Like I said earlier in this live stream, everything on this channel is what supports this channel. That includes minis themselves. So when I want to buy new things for the channel, I gotta sell some of the stuff I have. So I had this really cool Blood Angels army, all firstborn. It was kind of this weird mixture of like Heresy era stuff, second edition stuff, third edition stuff, a little bit of a Death Company, but it was all Firstborn Marines. It was a whole lot of fun. Had Rhino, had a bunch of characters, some jump pack guys. It was a lot of fun to build, paint, and collect, and I did regret selling it. I don't know that I would ever get back around to doing one again, but I definitely support anybody that wants to. I think they're cool. Hey, Shady Snakes, joining the membership for 2 months. Much appreciated, my friend. If you guys don't know, you can support us on Patreon, or you can support us right here as a channel member. I do release certain videos early for channel members. There's also certain videos that are channel members only. Think funny outtakes, extended length things where I kind of prattle on about nonsense forever. If you don't get enough Big Mek in your life, I would definitely recommend becoming a channel member. Then shoot me a DM over on Discord with your name, and we'll get you into our members only section where you definitely get to know about some things coming up on the channel before everybody else and can help make decisions on some of the things that we do. So Shady Snakes there is a member of the Mek Boys and does those things. And he wants to know what's cooler, a claw with a bottom saw like Gruck Face Rippas, or a traditional three-bladed claw? Ooh. Okay. I'm gonna take the cop out, but it's not a cop out. My cop out is neither, because I think that every orc claw should be different. But I'm gonna back it up. First of all, OG Yarrick with the lobster claw. That is an orc power claw, right? Lobster claw is cool as heck. Then you've got the old two-bladed snip snip claw. Those were rad, right? The two-blade claw, giant pair of scissors, right? Whatever you want to call it. They were super cool. Then you got into your traditional three-bladed claw, and then you got your two blades with the saw on the bottom. And now, as you see with new Nazdreg, you've got the 5 or 4 finger, I think his is 5 fingered claw, and the bottom 2 fingers have chainsaws built into them. All of those are cool. And then you've got Gazgul with just 4 fingers. Wicked cool. I have a knob squad back here on the table that I've been working on forever that is 10 knobs, and I converted them that all 10 are power claw, and every single power claw is a different power claw, and they're all Games Workshop. They're all legit. They are just all from literal different orc models. So I didn't take a cop out. There's not like a chain fist from a Chaos Terminator and a power fist from Imperial Guard lieutenant or whatever. No, it is all OG orc power claws. Nothing looted. These are not Death Skull guys. And I did that, and I think they look fantastic. Unfortunately, I haven't built them. I haven't painted them. I haven't based them, and ergo, I haven't worked on them again, because now we know that knobs are getting a brand new squad with brand new loadouts. I don't know how many are going to be in a squad. I don't even know they could take 10 power claws, so they're kind of on the back burner for now. But yeah, you can't say which one is cooler, because they're all cool, and that's one of the coolest things about orcs, is that not just in the lore but the actual models, every single power claw is different. They shouldn't all match. So yeah. Andrew Fishman says, to be fair, yellow is the perfect base color for a really nice red. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I should just go ahead and paint him one of these days. We'll see. Maybe that'll be a good October project. Homestead Dork says, I'm hoping to eventually have a Rogue Trader 2nd edition Orc Army, a 3rd through 7th Orc Army, and then an 8th through current Orc Army. That would be rad. That would be super rad. That's kind of what my Imperial Guard are. I have like a legit Rogue Trader era Imperial Guard army, and then I have a 2nd, 3rd edition era Imperial Guard army, and then I have a 3rd through 8th Imperial Guard army, and then I have a new Imperial Guard army. And yeah, it's way too many Imperial Guard armies, and I'm probably selling most of them to fund the next thing on the channel. So if you're really into Imperial Guard, especially OG stuff, you know where to find me on Discord, where you could kind of jump to the head of the line, because I don't want to sell them. I don't want to sell them, but I kind of need to sell them, right? I will tell you that the OG guys, they are like OG from before Imperial Guard even had regiments. And then the 2nd edition army is Valhallans. All metal, all OG, all legit. Let's see. All right, man. You guys are definitely helping each other out over on the Discord. I love to see it. Andrew Fishman did his own orc band called The Reckoning, and he's in the Kit Bashing channel. Put some photos up there for Drakenfell. That was rad. Yeah, Wakshani, that's exactly where I'm at. Guard are very tricky. I have tons of models that are like literally not usable, and ones that have been converted multiple times. So heavy weapons teams, they used to have your like heavy bolter cart was just on wheels, and then there'd be like a gunner, and then there'd be a loader standing there on one single base. Then you had certain ones that they were on 2 25mm bases. You have like your rocket launcher guy, and then the guy with the shell. And then they said, oh, heavy weapons teams go on a base, and you put them on these big old 50 millimeter races, and they looked great. But they took up a ton of room on the battlefields. Then they said, "Oh, let's actually put them on a 40, or no, maybe it was 60s and then 50s, something like that." They were on a great big pie pan, and then they were on smaller ones, and the smaller ones were so small that you couldn't even get like the las cannon. Especially, you'd have the little A-frame for the las cannon, and then you have the power pack cord coming out the side of the power cord, and then the gunner, and then the dude standing behind it. You couldn't get all that on a base. The feet stuck over. It was ridiculous. It looked like hell. And then now you can even take those in your infantry squad. So I'm sitting on, 6 of them for my infantry squads, plus the 9 for the 3x3 of heavy weapons teams. And what the hell am I supposed to do with them? So yeah, I'm very salty, very very salty. Imperial Guard land speeders, medics on bikes, absolutely. Grav bikes, just period. Ooh, Wakshani says my big pride is the oldest whirlwind in the state and possibly the entire US. I'm guessing you're on the original OG Rhino chassis with the metal whirlwind add-on missile launcher thing on the back. Throw up a photo in Discord. I want to see this older or oldest whirlwind. We'll see. We'll see how old it is. Hey, Calvin, good to see you. We've been prattling on for almost 2 full hours. In fact, where are we at in the live chat? We've got a countdown going there. We've got 34 minutes left to get those last 6 super chats, and then we can do a little. Yeah. Anyways. Oh, Akshani says no, much older than that. It's from White Dwarf, teaching you how to scratch build them as they were invented at White Dwarf. Now you have my attention. That sounds awesome. I've got to see that. Oh, Assault Defend Cases decided to keep my 60 kit bashed boys from AOS kits. My heart couldn't let go of them. Surprisingly so. Sold most of my kit bash and pray at the orcs in the secondary market. It's funny the models we get attached to, right? The ones that were like, man, like I should get rid of this, but I can't. And it's funny which ones those tend to be sometimes. That is funny. Yeah, Shady Snakes is our number one fan. He supports us on Patreon and here on the channel, and is the purveyor of all things vintage. So yeah, if you want to do some serious Warhammer trading and get some really cool rare stuff, he is definitely the man to talk to in the Discord channel. Drakenfeld says, Big Mek, I collect Death Watch like you collect Guard. My Orcs, Necrons, and Tyrians are quickly catching up. I celebrate when I find older Death Watch kits. Man, that takes some dedication. Old Death Watch kits can bring some money too, some serious teeth. Yep, thank you, Andrew Fishman. That is correct. Discord link is in the description for the video. All you got to do is click right there where it says description, and it lists everything out. We always have linked, always, in every single video, you will see in the description a link to our merch store, rideonesgofasta.com, where you get the drip, Make sure you get the drip. And then we have our Discord link, which again is always free. It's not paywalled or anything. You don't need to be a channel member like all the other YouTube channels do. You can come join the Discord and you can do absolutely everything except for the one members only section off the trot. And again, we pay for the upgraded Discord. So you have unlimited uploads on photos and stuff. You guys have the voice chats. You can make your own emojis. You guys have made some really cool ones of my face. Thank you. And other things like that. Like there's a lot of stuff we could do in Discord. I'm old. I don't quite understand Discord all the way, if I'm perfectly honest. Like, so those of you that are younger that actually know what you're doing, I'm sure you can come up with all sorts of cool stuff that you could do with our Discord server that we're paying for. That. But yeah, and then there's also the link to Patreon for the Gorka Morka content, and then the Goff Rockers to their YouTube channel at Dead Shooty Productions. They're the ones who do our intro music, which, by the way, you'll notice the last channel, we have brought back the intro scream and the full song at the end. I'm hoping to keep that going moving forward because those guys are amazing and we should be celebrating them all the time. So go listen to the Goff Rockers. As well as their Spotify. And then we always list our artwork artists. Obviously, Old Big Mek myself, Red Squig is entirely mine. Every single pixel of that was hand drawn by yours truly. We've got Velgarn, who did our original right there where it says the red ones go faster and it has the green Big Mek with the 4 grots hanging off of him. That's Velgarn artwork. And then BenBam, who did all of our, the red ones go fastest stuff. The more DACA stuff, the October stuff, that was all BenBam. And then DarkForceCrew did our new year more orcs artwork. That is Dark Force One. He does excellent work. Looking forward to more from him as well. And then Boss Mac, one of our own, right here from Discord and comments and viewing. Boss Mac is the one who designed Hot Work Summer. That is 100% him, which was super duper rad. So everybody make sure you applaud Boss Mac if you like your Hot Work Summer stuff. So if you want to be an artist, reach out to me on Discord. We will see what kind of project we can get you into, but that is always, always, always credited in our videos every single time. Distance No Goot says, love my old metal minis. Wish I'd gotten more of them when I first started. Well, if there's any you're hankering for, I know one shady snake who can get it for you. So, yeah. Oh, we got a new super chat. Only 5 to go now. This one is from Wow21 with a big one, an orange one. I like that. I've never seen orange before. It says Nazdreg getting a model is decent, but I think Gorgut's Headhunter should have gotten a new model ahead of Dawn of War 4. They basically already gave him a standard Warboss model. Look, could have been retooled for Gorguts. Oh, that's interesting. So Gorguts, though, is in Mega Armor, and I have a theory on this. Our current Mega Knobs, right? They definitely need a redo. We have all agreed on that. I don't think there's any I don't want to say room for discussion. There's always room for discussion, but I don't think there's any pushback on that. If we can all agree, Mega Knobs need a little help. They're a little squatty, they're a little chonky, and they're a little dated, right? So everybody wants new Mega Knobs. The new, quote unquote, from 2019, 2018, Warboss and Mega Armor is fantastic. That is a super cool sculpt. The giant two-handed huge choppa, the little grot on his shoulder with the shooter. A1, no notes. Fantastic sculpt. Problem is he's pushing it because he's from the OG Combat Patrol from 9th edition. And 2, you can't do anything else with him. They took away all of the other loadouts. Even if you did kit bash him, put a power claw on him, you can't actually take him with a power claw. I have theorized multiple times on this channel that we are going to get a new Warboss and Mega Armor model as a full glue version, something that should have come out all the way back in 8th edition and they never got around to. I really do think it's coming. I have also theorized that particular model will not only have all the options to build all the different loadouts for Warboss and Mega Armor, but will also be able to build Gorguts, just like Mazrak, Scragbad, and the Beast Boss and Squigosaur can be built. Now, am I right? I have no idea. I have no insider information on this. This is not Purple Squig. This is not me reading in between the lines of all of the financial documents, which is how we figured out so many other things. This is pure. This is what I normally do for this, right? This is pure old Big Mekadum being a punk going, this is what I think is going to happen with no substantiation whatsoever. But I do still think it's going to happen. So if we get a new Warboss and Mega Armor, the ability to build him as Gorguts should be an option. We'll see if Games Workshop is smart enough to do that. But yeah, I do suspect we have not heard the last of Gorguts. Ooh, Nicholas Bouchard bought Old Gaz, Zagstruck, Snickrot, and Big Mek with custom 4-field, all in metal. That is a good combination. Good combination. Doc is hoping that we get Badruck next. I mean, yeah, we need Captain Badruck. Look, Captain Badruck is one of the all-time great orc characters. And yeah, like don't get me wrong, Nazdreg is wild. I love having Nazdreg. Wazdock is great. I mean, I'm a speed freak guy. Like finally getting a speed freak model is fantastic. But we all agree that you gotta have him. Like you gotta have Captain Badrock. He is the captain, right? I mean, they did that made to order metal release, which by the way, I haven't gotten yet. I got a shipping notification from G Dubs, but I haven't seen it. I should probably follow up on that because I did order one and then 3 sets of the Grats. So if anybody didn't get one of the sets of Grats, I did buy extras on purpose that I would sell at Games Workshop's price. No scalping here because I don't do that kind of stuff. But yeah, I did grab a couple extra of those. They should be here. That's weird. Anyways. Oh, you guys are wanting to know what else is coming. Ludas and Bertas and Storm Boys for sure. We are not getting new Storm Boys. I absolutely positively guarantee we are not getting new Storm Boys. They just went back in stock at the web store, guys. Why would they go back in stock at the web store if they're getting replaced? They've been out of stock for months. No, they reboxed them. They're good to go. We're not getting new Storm Boys. Not anytime soon. Now, Ludas and Bertas, absolutely getting new ones of those. Now, are we getting them with the Codex? I don't know. I have been on record saying I strongly suspect that they are the next Orc Kill Team. However, Kill Team is getting weird all of a sudden. As you saw, the new one that just released is the Exodites for Eldar and the Beast Snaggas, which, Beast Snagga Kill Team, cool, but it's the Beast Snaggas and the Squighog Boys. But more shockingly, they didn't do an update sprue for the Beast Snagga Boys. And that confuses the hell out of me because the whole rest of Orkdom is getting 40mm based knobs and larger knobs. And they've done an upgrade sprue before. They did an upgrade sprue for the original Boys. That's how we got the Boys knob and the big shooter and the rocket launcher and all that stuff was on that little upgrade sprue when they changed the box from 16 Boys to 10 Boys. And they gave you that upgrade sprue and turned it into 11 Boys. Like, they've done that. They've obviously done it with other models and other factions. Tau, the Pathfinder team or whatever it was, they got an upgrade sprue. Who else? The Space Marine Beakies, they got an upgrade sprue. Like there was a bunch of upgrade sprues happening, and so I was really shocked that they didn't do it for Beast Snaggas because a little upgrade sprue that had a real Beast Snagga knob on it that you could slap on a 40mm base, and then you've got the thump gun, but you don't really have anything else. Like where's they should have like a grappling hook launcher thing like the Commando guys have, right? Or like some sort of double fist hammer thing, like have a couple of special weapons to go in there would be really rad, as well as some alternate parts for things. That kit would have sold like hotcakes. So it was really surprising that they did not do that. All right, guys, we're getting down there in time. We only got 23 minutes left to get 5 more chats. Again, any size whatsoever. You don't have to be one of these all-time absolute units like WAAAAGH 21 hold on, let me scroll back here to get the name right. And Poetic Terror. You guys don't need to be orange or red. It would be awesome if you were orange or red, but you don't have to be orange or red. You could totally be teal or green or whatever color you want. And get 5 more super chats. But if we get those 5 more super chats and meet the goal, it does a whole lot for the algorithm and the channel, which really helps us grow not just now, but also the next time we do a live stream. It's going to zap it out to more people next Monday than it did this Monday. So, thank you. Super duper appreciated. Distance No Goot 3319 says, don't the Storm Boys use the old style bodies? No, they do not. In fact, Storm Boys famously have their own body. Look at his butt there. Look at his badonkadonk. It does not have the gorilla butt going on. The body is a much more dynamic pose, and it is not compatible with the old school boy ecosystem where you have the cup socket in the pants and then the ball on the bottom of the torso. These do not have that whatsoever. So yeah, there's no kit finishing like that there. The arm joins, so where the arm and the shoulder come together, is still just a straight line. So that is the old ecosystem. But I mean, yeah, that doesn't matter because their arms are totally unique because they do have the cords that go in to the side of their rocket jump packs there. So yeah, they are not the same as the old boys whatsoever. There is zero reason to remake these guys simply because of that feature. So yeah, just the arms and heads are like the old ones, and they are totally unique arms and heads. So yeah, there's no reason to replace those. Sav Master says they're just getting their excess stock of beast eggs. Yeah, I mean, but they could do that with the upgrade sprue. Like the upgrade sprue is obviously not on the same mold, right? So you just make a mold of the upgrade sprue, you stamp out a million of them, you throw them in the box with the beast snaggers, and suddenly all those beast snaggers are selling like hotcakes, and you could sell them for a premium because one, kill team stuff sells for a premium, but two, all of us guys are going to want to like upgrade our beast snagger kits, and so we're going to go buy it. So yeah, I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense. Andrew Fishman says, I will take a set of grots if you have one spare. I should have at least one spare, if not two spare. When they actually get in, I will post about it on Discord. We'll probably do old Big Mek's garage sale round 3, and we'll lead off with those guys. Again, it'll be whatever price I paid Games Workshop for them. No profit on that whatsoever. So if you missed out and you really want them, so Andrew, definitely DM me over on Discord, and I'll try to remember that you've already kind of thrown your name in the hat for one, and we'll go for there. Hey, Debate Dog, thank you for that. That puts us 4 away from our chat goal. Says, I'm really hoping that GW keeps up with the Armageddon story this edition. I hope so too. Look, regardless of whether or not it's Orcs or Armageddon or whatever, like last edition, I actually really enjoyed the lore in Leviathan. You guys that have been around the channel know, Best Grot and I, we bought Leviathan when it came out. I loved the lore in it. I liked the Tyranids, being a threat again. I thought they were really moving the lore forward. We did a couple of videos on 40k lore, and then it just stopped. And the next thing you know, we were back in Pariah Nexus and back in like 9th edition and Necrons, and we're like, wait, what? Where'd the Tyranids go? What's going on with the Imperium? And then next thing you know, like, yeah, chaos stuff going on. They had a whole war on Armageddon. Oh man, I am sorry. I am just getting over being sick from the whole vacation thing. And yeah, my head is not with it, as you can hear and see. But they had a whole war on Armageddon without orcs. They had like chaos demons and all like I don't know, all sorts of weird stuff going on Armageddon and no orcs. And then at the very end of 10th, they finally put orcs on Armageddon. So I don't know what their lore writers were doing or what was going on. Obviously, there's huge lead time with a lot of this stuff that Games Workshop does. So I'm kind of like really hoping that all of that is from the writing and the work that they had to do during like all the COVID lockdowns and stuff. And now maybe we're past that. And this is the work they've been doing like since late 2021, early 2022. And now it's just regular work coming out. And we're seeing like releases make more sense. So I'm really, really hopeful that that's what we've got going forward because I would love to see the narrative move. I love to see new things happen in 40K. I love to see battles that actually make a difference and things happen and the push and pull of the different armies. I have been on record as saying when Cadia fell, that was amazing. Cadia should have just been gone, like just done. That would have been rad. They could have made a new regiment, the new face of Imperial Guard, which also would have helped them with like trademarks and IP and stuff because Cadians aren't exactly trademarkable, like they could have gotten rid of them entirely, and gone to a new style of Imperial Guard and like just left Cadia as a broken husk. So the whole like Cadia stands, everybody's Acadian. It's just like really kind of lame. And then the whole like retconning Abaddon's 13th Black Crusade to suddenly being this like huge success after it was like this horrible failure forever. I don't know, man. They're just kind of all over the place. So I would love to see some consistency and some continuity. Again, I don't dislike new lore. I love new lore. Custodes actually leaving the Emperor's lavatory and then like being made a female stew is actually cool. Death Watch doing its thing and getting out there and like meddling around and things. The Grey Knights like getting ready to have a battle with the other Imperial units because they don't like Custodes and they might even kill the Emperor. That's really cool stuff, right? Like I like the moving forward. I don't mind new lore. I love new lore. I just wanted to like actually do something and go somewhere and like not backpedal. Like pick a direction and go. We'll go on that ride with you. So that's what I'm hoping. Choppa Shooters and Slugger says, ha 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 ha, we're helping to gets out. Give me a wog. Wog on. We are so close. We are 3 away, guys. If we can get 3 more super chats in the next less than 17 minutes, we will meet the goal for the channel, as well as allow me to do a little sneaky piggy for you guys that don't already know. So that would be something really, really good. Ooh, Calvin Ryder says, haven't had time to work on my new works. Been busy building a 3 foot by 3 foot Trench Crusade game board. Those of you that don't know what Calvin is talking about, over on the Discord in the terrain building section, he's been showing updates. This board, I kid you not, is insane. So it's for Trench Crusade. I'm sure you could use it for 40K or whatever, but it is an actual legit trench. Like he's got trench works with like wood flooring and the parapets going up, and then no man's land out in between, modular style. This board is wild. Calvin is doing an excellent job on it. I love seeing his updates on the board. If you are into game boards and like super narrative, really cool stuff, you should definitely check that out for sure. Yeah, Blissful Badge. No, I mean, I know they jump around in the story and they don't really move it all too much, and that's okay. Like I understand that, but just like I'd like to see like, okay, it moves here, and then yeah, you jump around here, but it still moves forward, right? Like what they did is they like moved and jumped back. So it was like Leviathan, Tyranids are coming, rah, and then it was Pariah Nexus, you're fighting Necrons. I'm like, didn't we already fight those Necrons in the Pariah Nexus? And they're like, oh yeah, you did, but they stood back up. Ooh, and you're just like, okay, but why? Like, if the Necrons won, the Necrons won. Like, can the Necrons come up in a different Nexus? Yeah, I don't know. Like that would be cool. Like it's just kind of things like that. Armageddon now has it works, but doesn't have Steel Legion, right? Come on, James Workshop. What are you doing? Ooh, Drakenfell wants to know any Death Watch in my garage sale. You missed Death Watch in the last one. I actually had a whole squad of not metal, but early plastic Death Watch stuff. Actually, there were a couple of metal pieces. I think a couple of the shoulder pads were metal, as well as some of the weapons and stuff. But yeah, you did miss some Death Watch. I also had a Death Watch flyer thingy. I don't remember what it was called. That one went a long time ago. But yeah, we do occasionally get Death Watch. The garage sales are kind of random everything. What happens is inevitably I walk into a friendly local game store, especially Mind Taker Miniatures. That place is, my squid crack. And I see something and I go, that would make a cool video or a cool conversion. And I grab it and then I forget about it. And I end up with piles and piles and oodles of it. And I go, I need to do something with this stuff. Or sometimes I do buy it and I do the little video or whatever, and then it's like, okay, now I'm done. What do I do with the rest of this thing, right? So like the Ever kit is an Aura kit, right? I have the leftover kits that I started with. Like, what am I going to do with half of a Drukhari Raider? What am I going to do with half of a Grey Knight's Dread Knight, right? So things like that. That's what gets sold at the garage sales. So yeah, that kind of stuff coming. Drakenfell says, I bought a truck yesterday. Is there only one build for the truck or multiple builds? Trucks all have the same war gear now. But the new truck is getting upgraded war gear that Games Workshop just talked about. Mainly, there's going to be a rocket launcher on it now, and the close combat weapon is kind of changing. But you'll be fine. You could just convert it. You could throw an extra rocket on there from another kit. I recommend the Dakajet, that thing right there. That kit comes with a zillion rockets in it, so gluing a couple of those rockets onto it, and then you'll have some more for Warbiker knobs and whatnot would be an excellent idea. That's our deal. Hey, WA21 hitting us up again. That gets us to 18 out of 20 on the super chat. Says, still waiting for Gilman reunion with Lion. Right? Like that. Like you gave us Gilman back. That was awesome. You gave us Lion back. That was even cooler. The Lion and Gilman know about each other. Like, Games Workshop, it's been like 4 years, man. Like, come on. Can they talk to each other? Like, you don't got to do anything like super crazy with it. Even just them like, you're alive. Screw you. Like, where is that? We all want to read that. We would all buy that. We all want to see it. Like, come on, man. Let's go. Uploading is so slow. Oh, Deflucidasha says, please vote on my poll in the Discord terrain channel when you're in there too. Yeah, we'll have to check that out. Yeah, everybody, the after party for the live stream is always on the Discord server because we have a zillion things to talk about or pictures to look at. So we all jump over the Discord server. So that's the after party. Hey, we made it. We got 2 more in quick succession as the Mac 2401 with the all important quack. And then Death by Chair with the 20th and final super chat. Again, apologies. My throat's killing me. I'm just getting over or still kind of sick. Says, I recently won my first event of 40K ever. Let's go. First place with the green side, thinking by the time I get Nazdreg, I'll have a proper DACA ready. Dude, I love it. Congratulations on your first event win in 40K. Doing it with the orcs, making the boys proud. That is super awesome, man. I am proud of you. And yeah, maybe by the time you have Nazdreg, you'll have that proper DACA already. Have you done a DACA rig? I recommend a DACA rig. Those are fun. I like the model. I love the way it's working on the tabletop. That's going to be a super fun one. All right. So let's get into our specials. First of all, we got to make sure there's no moles here. Do any of you guys work for Games Workshop? Huh? There any GWs there? Does anybody know what time it is in the UK? That's the other reason why we do this stuff so late over here in the US, because all those guys will be asleep and then they don't know what we're doing, right? Cunning. So let's see. Let me look. I don't see any moles in here. I'm not hearing anything. Okay. All right, guys. Listen up. This is important. For those of you that don't already know, it sounded like a Blood Axe. I am wearing my Blood Axe camo hat. You guys like that one? I have had a request to do this same hat with the more DACA patch, or not patch. This is actually embroidered. This is not a patch. It's not an iron-on. It's not going to come off. It is embroidered fully into the FlexiFit hat. I have had a request to do this in the more DACA version. I am working on that, but yeah, highly recommend the Blood Axe cap. Very cool look. But yeah. So for those of you that don't know, we do have a valid business license here on the channel. We are doing business things with that right there. So way back, this would have been last October when I broke my power claw and I was going through all that stuff. You guys remember that, right? You know, I had all the titanium plates and rods in here and couldn't move, couldn't do things. I got bored and I started snooping around. And in my snooping around and sneaking around, I found out that Games Workshop abandoned a trademark, and they abandoned it in a very specific, peculiar way. You see, again, degree. For those of you that don't know, business stuff has to be trademarked in order for you to defend it. So basically, anybody can make anything, but if you don't want other people to copy you, you have to trademark it. And so a trademark is a registration where you go, I am the originator of this idea in this space. Only I can use it. So an example of that would be like car names, right? So Ford has the Mustang, right? They have trademarked Mustang as a car. Nobody else can make a Mustang in name or in looks, okay? However, you can make, Mustang the energy drink to your heart's content, because no one is going to confuse an energy drink for a car, okay? You guys following along? When you file a trademark, it is yours as a business, because only businesses can do it. It is yours in perpetuity. It never goes away. It doesn't expire. Patents expire, right? Patents go off of expiration. Certain creative works can go out of trademarkability. So, books, even movies and cartoons, like, the original Mickey Mouse famously went off of trademark eventually. But when it comes to like regular old production things, so like Coca-Cola, right? Nobody else can make Coca-Cola the name. Nobody else can use a red can with a white squiggle on it, right? That is theirs. It will continue to be theirs as they operate. It's not going to expire. When you file for a mark like that, unless you do something specifically, it's always yours. Now, what you can do is you could file to go, hey, I am a abandoning this mark. I am saying I am no longer interested in holding this trademark and being a part of whatever this is ever again. I'm done with it. That costs extra money and extra time. Like they have like corporate lawyers that do this stuff. And so for a company to decide to spend time going, we don't want that anymore, is interesting. And what I found was old James Workshop happened to have done that in late 2023 to a certain IP. Catch my drift? So not only did they no longer own it, they specifically filed to abandon it, saying they wanted nothing to do with it anymore. So old Big Mek here decided to be cunning. We of course have our business going with our theredonesgofasta.com merch sales, because again, part of trademarking is you can't just sit on it. You can't like trademark something and then never release it. And you have to show that you are a viable business. So hey, hundreds and hundreds of sales in 18 different countries, thousands of dollars in revenue. Don't ask me about profit. We're not a very good company. I just said we were a company. Those are two different things. I'm not trying to be the next Blackstone here, right? Like, come on. Forgive it. Remember when I said like old school Games Workshop, punk counterculture owned by people, didn't make any money? That's what we're going for, right? So, anyways, I had to show the US Patent and Trademark Office that I was a legit business, that I had legit business interests in certain fields, and that this trademark needed to be mine. And all of that got finalized and submitted in February. And then we have been sitting on pins and needles ever since. Well, we got word in that we've been approved. And in about 15 days, we can go live worldwide as the owners and sole arbiters, sellers, whatever you want to call it, of a certain IP. Yeah, that's right. That is mine, is ours. We get to do that, not G-Dubs. Now, a lot of you know that there is an RPG of that name that is very popular on our Discord server that is done by our own very own Dirt Hermit. Dirt Hermit and I are in very close communications. I consider him a good friend at this point. I obviously, have a character in his an RPG. We've talked about, rules and stuff like that. And the agreement is going to be that for the RPG, he gets to use that name in perpetuity for free. His goal has always been to put those rules out for free. Funny thing, you can't actually trademark game rules. For example, Monopoly. That's why you see so many Opolies out there, because can't trademark games, which is a whole lot of fun. But he is doing his own rule book, his own rule system, his own RPG system. He wants that to be free. I support that 1,000%. And we're going to do that with the official name trademarked. Now, so I had to file for RPG rules, including books, in order to be able to control that mark, regardless of whether or not we're going to sell it for any money or not. I also obviously did clothing and drip, because how could you not have something so cool all over your clothing and drip when you own a clothing and drip store, as well as all tabletop miniature games? Yeah, that's right. Tabletop miniature games of this IP owned by the Red Ones Go Fasta. Yeah. Sabmaster, excellent question. British IP to American IP. So Games Workshop did file for that trademark in both Great Britain and the US. They did not file anywhere else. Generally speaking, in most countries and in most kind of like divisions, they're not like formal divisions, you don't mean like most markets, right? A trademark in one country is considered de facto in all countries. So meaning, for example, we'll do actual Red Bull, right? Not Red Squig, Red Bull. Red Bull, they're from Europe, right? I forget which country. They're not Dutch, something like that. But wherever they are over there, they filed in that original country. They have now since filed in the US, but for a long time, Red Bull didn't actually have a trademark in the US. Basically didn't matter. Nobody else was going to make it but them, right? There are a lot of companies like that they just make something in the US or in the EU. They don't trademark it anywhere else, even if they do sell it in other markets, because nobody else is going to get in on that. Because even though you're not specifically trademarked there, it doesn't mean that you can't defend it there. Okay. Now, that also means that Games Workshop, when they filed to abandon, they had to file it to abandon in both countries. Now, we've looked into actually trademarking it in the UK as well. However, UK trademark law is obviously very different than US trademark law. And despite this, I'm not a lawyer. That's not what my degree is in. I don't understand all that stuff. But from what I understand, we don't actually have to file in the UK. Us owning it in the US is plenty enough. It's going to prevent them from ever doing it in the UK anyway. Not to mention the US is kind of the biggest market, so they're kind of up a creek without a paddle anyway. But yeah, we don't actually have to specifically file in the UK. The other problem is we don't have a business license in the UK. I am obviously not an international conglomerate. Yes, we sold to 18 countries, but we sell via drop seller, right? It's not like we have production or sales teams or employees or anything like that in other countries. So it's not something that's on our radar yet. However, if that ever becomes an issue, we may have to, make some money, raise some funds. Like I said, we are deep into the four digits of teeth on this project. This is not a cheap endeavor by any shake. In order to do this, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But suffice it to say, in about 15 days, expect massive, earth-shattering announcements officially trademarking something for the Red Ones Go Faster. So yeah, there you go. There's your big news. All the Patreons have known about this for quite a few days now, as well as the channel members. So yeah, I've got more info on that. If you want to see like actual screenshots and data and dates and things like that, come join Patreon. It's posted on there and you can see it for yourself. And again, we do have a membership tier for founders. Again, if you want to be a part of building the next G Dubs that stays the old school punk rock counterculture owned by employees for employees, encourages Trash Hammer and other companies to be a part of their projects. You could be a part of that by being a founder. You will be literally listed on products. You will have drip that is only available to you, that kind of thing. So as Max says, you should make that the stream for that week. Oh, believe you me, we will. I suspect we're gonna ruffle some feathers with this one. It's gonna be interesting. What Shawnee says, I was so busy with Beckboy work, you missed that announcement. Yeah, we've been hinting at it for a while. And again, if you are on Patreon, we've been talking about it there. We keep it all behind closed doors right now, not because we don't want to tell you guys, but obviously because this does involve corporate kind of backhanded dealing. I don't know what you want to call it. It involves some corporate, shenanigans, and we didn't want to alert them or their lawyers or give them any opportunity to go in and try and take it from us. We looted it fair and square, kind of a deal. And at this point, that time has basically passed. So outside of like an emergency court injunction, which frankly ain't going to happen, the sucker's ours. But that being said, we do still have to wait for the actual final date. So if y'all can like for a while, old Big Mek would appreciate it. And yes, Mr. Shady Snakes has been a founder tier since we announced it. He is our OG original follower on that. So yeah, Shady Snakes absolutely been all up on that. And then again, remember guys, we've been working with Dirt Hermit one-on-one. He has his own RPG project that is entirely his. That is his baby. Those are his rules. But he's going to be able to use the name. Like we went ahead and made sure that we trademarked the name for that, because RPGs, surprisingly enough, are a completely separate entity when you're filing trademarks than tabletop games. Completely separate. I mean, might as well be as separate as shoes and sports drinks. So that was really interesting. So we did have to like do a lot of extra to do that, but it's worth it to support our friend and compatriot. Even though it's a passion project. He's not going to make any money on it. We're not going to make any money on it. We don't care. That's not what we're about, right? That's not what we're about. We all want to have fun, run around like squigs and grots and boys in that RPG, blowing stuff up, building cool stuff, and progressing in that world is going to be a whole lot of fun. And yes, Ognog, it is an utterly orky thing to do. It may be the death scoliest thing to ever actually happen in real life. I'm gonna have to change the name of the channel from the red ones go fasta to the blue ones are sneakiest or something like that. I don't even know. But yeah, I am a real life dirty, dirty death skull, apparently. Go figure. We'll have to release an all new like blue line or something. I don't know. DeFlu Snashes says, "Can we make a version of the vintage plastic bulkheads that work with the vintage cardstock terrain?" Absolutely, we could. None of those components are trademark or patented in any way, shape, or form. And then obviously, with the advent of 3D printing, coming up with STL files that people can print themselves, and then using, a local printer or whatever to make some to have in stock and sell and ship physical for those of you without printers is definitely a thing to do. We can also make new card stock. We can make our own card stock to go with it. Like those are definitely things that are going to come after, the blue ones loot the bestest. I love it. We'll have to do like a rebrand of the channel for a week or something like that. That should be super duper fun. But yeah, that's what we're doing. So if you have any ideas on things that you want to see or want to do with that, definitely hit me up again, especially over on Patreon. Yeah. Ooh, Watch 21 says, "Careful, Big Mek. GW or sneaky gets who like to stab folks in the back when they don't expect it." Look, GW still doesn't have this. I have this. It in my paws. Right? This is mine. Purple Squig found it. We broke it, and we have it. And no Pinkerton has come through my door yet or found out where I live to come get it back. All right. G-Dubs is a massive multi-billion-dollar corporation worldwide that is way too busy worried about Amazon film contracts to worry about little old Big Mek here running around like a grot down in their junk heap. Okay. But sometimes, just sometimes, you're a sneaky snuffler and you strike some gold, right? So that's what we've done here. Again, at this point, it's all but a done deal. Again, there are screenshots and full details over on the Patreon. Go join up on that, and you can go back and read that article from the other day. But yeah, there we go. Well, Shani says, "I want more glyphs at banners, rows of banners on poles. Also great fun for races, sticking on objective markers." Absolutely. Banners is something we're working on. Glyphs is something we're working on. I have been on record multiple times as saying I really want to release an injected plastic mold kit of like basically loot in a box, right? Like wheels, armor plating, random panels, extra weapons, stuff like that. That you can buy that box, clip all the things off the sprue, and just loot literally anything and turn it into an orky thing right out of the box. It's kind of like a sprue full of bits. Basically, that's what we want to do. That's like our big, giant, first huge goal. That's where I really want to get to. Because one, I think they sell like hotcakes. Because I mean, I'd buy like a million of them. But also, like, I think that's a really fun thing that a lot of people in the hobby want. Because again, this hobby is way more than people that just play tournaments, right? We call ourselves the hobby channel for a reason. Like most people that collect Warhammer don't even play Warhammer, right? So yeah, why not like serve that community with giving them cool things that they can use to kit bash things, regardless of whether or not it's a G-Dubs kit. You could use these stuff to kit bash anything, right? And turn it into an orky thing. So yeah, that's like our first really big goal. But yeah, the loot box, the official like loot in a box, that's where we want to be. I am officially the big boss of that place. We're not gonna say it yet. We're not gonna say it yet. But yeah, back banner bowls, all the boss polls, the whole thing. Or theme idea, the banner boys. Everything gets a banner, even the grots and squigs. That would be cool. Oh, I love an image of one of those bulkheads on clothing with a catchy phrase about looting it. Yeah, I expect like so like if we release the card terrain, combo thing, lots of really cheeky references on everything, lots of like, graffiti, on we's looted it fair and square, G-Dub stinks, whatever, that kind of stuff. Lots and lots of fun things. Hallucination. It's a good thing I didn't get hired for that store manager and be forced to zip my lips to the second interview. Yeah, come on, man. Well, keep that under wrap. The blue ones loot everything. Did Boss get the rights to Space Hulk? The speed freaks, man. Come on, the red ones go faster. What do you think I've been pointing all this time? Or is it what is else in there? Wake the Dead. I think I got Wake the Dead, Blood of the Phoenix. Take your pick. Take your pick. You might figure it out one day. You might figure it out one day. You need to get your own character in the RPG. I've been talking with Der Ermin about that on like how to make that into a character that you can like interact with. We haven't gotten there yet. We'll figure it out. For right now, we just have the squig. What did we call it? I forget what we called it. So you guys, like the memes online, right? On like the cat distribution system, how cats just show up and they just now you have a cat. So we have the squig distribution system in the RPG, and so a squig will just randomly appear, and now you have a squig whether you want it or not. The part that makes it extra funny and extra orky is more often than not, the squigs aren't actually useful to you. For example, it could be a bomb squig and it just chases you around everywhere until eventually it goes kaboom. It could be a biter squig and just like clamps onto your ankle all the time. You know, really just kind of dumb stuff like that. A nose hair squig, right? It's a hair squig, but it goes in your nose, right? Like just so yeah, squig distribution system is a thing that I come up with. That's kind of my only contribution so far. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see about getting actual old Big Mek in there once we get it. The Flus and Ashes, maybe they turned me down for the job because my association. Again, they have no idea who I am. The really funny thing is, when all this broke, obviously Purple Squig had put up the pictures and then sent me more in DMs. I had broke the thing on Discord and done my own YouTube video, but the Discord post is what got picked up, right? And Valrak was running with it, and like I literally had to join Valrak's channel and like do a super chat for him to see my comments and be like, "Yo, hello, this is mine. Here's my video from 3 hours ago, right? On this thing with all these photos you haven't even seen yet." And in that live stream, the Warhammer official, like whatever channel, was actually commenting to Valrak about how they were going to like come get him for releasing this. And he's like, it's not even me. Like, I'm literally in the comments going, here's my channel. He's showing my channel in the picture on picture, going, yeah, it's the red ones go fast. Here's his video, yada, yada, yada. And Games Workshop is like, Valrak, you did it again. So I don't know, man. They don't even know. They don't even know who did it. They're so full of it. It's hilarious. They have no idea who I am. All right, guys, it's been 2 hours and 21 minutes of me doing this so far. My throat is completely done. I can barely talk anymore. So I'm going to have to call this one here. I think we had a great stream, though. We talked all about Nazdreg, both old and new, the data sheet, what that means for a potential gas. We looked at gas. Feel like we got some more. Talked about other orc kits coming out and other orc kits that aren't getting replaced, like our Storm Boyfriend here. And yeah, just generally had a fantastic time on Monday Night WAAAAGH, which I love to be back in the saddle again. I really, really miss doing this. It was funny. I started doing the live streams. YouTube isn't really set up for live streams. It actually started live streaming on Twitch a long, long, long time ago. But I found that that confused people. Like you're either on Twitch or you are on YouTube. The channels that try to do both, it's really, really hard. You end up being bigger on one or the other, and people get confused on where they should watch you at or what's going on. And so a long time ago, I made that decision of like, I am just only sticking with YouTube. I don't do Instagram Reels. I don't do Twitch. I don't do Facebook. I only exist on YouTube. That's why we are the Red Ones Go Faster, the YouTube channel. That's all we do. That way it makes it really easy to find us and our content. And if you ever see this ugly mug anywhere but YouTube, you know it's fake. Okay. But yeah, so then I had started streaming on YouTube, and at first we didn't really get much, and it was literal hobby streaming. I just had the camera on, and I saw my hands, we were painting stuff or doing, and then we started talking to each other, and more it became this like, okay, like let's have this interaction, let's have this conversation, and it became like a regular Monday night thing, and I got people DMing me, hey, what time's the stream tonight, So I didn't realize how big it had gotten, and I really, really missed doing it last week. Like even on vacation with the Grots, I was like, maybe I should like live stream with the Grot from the hotel or something. I don't know. We had some Warhammer with us, as you saw. We did a video with War Boss Dan. That meant a whole lot to me. Those of you that don't know, War Boss Dan and I go way, way, way back. We went to high school together. He is actually the person that taught me how to play Warhammer in third edition. Um, and got me like to be a super fan. I had seen it before. I played it with my cousins. Like, I've talked about all those things, but War Boss Dan is 100% the reason why I am into Warhammer the way I am today. And I haven't seen War Boss Dan in a really long time. We haven't played Warhammer since those days, way more than 20 years ago. I don't want to admit, back in the late 1900s. But yeah, it was super, super cool to get together with War Boss Dan. And not only did we get to put Warhammer on the board again together for the first time in over 2 decades, we both did it with our Grots. And we were teaching our Grots how to play. I say we, he. War Boss Dan did all the work. Go watch the video. It's actually really good. It's my worst performing video of all time, and I don't care. It is the one that means the absolute most to me. To sit down with one of my all-time best friends playing the game that I love, that he was responsible for, with both of our kids who are the same age and both getting into it the way we were, and like, yeah, now they love talking to each other and like warhammering, and I can't wait to do it again. So if you want some good vibes, it's an excellent video full of really good tidbits. Honestly, Warboss Dan is an excellent teacher still to this day. I would love for him to do a how to play 11th edition video. Warboss Dan needs a channel. I don't know, you guys can bother him. He's got a day job too, but I'm sure he's not busy enough with his Grot crew just like me. But yeah, that one meant a whole world to me. But yeah, so we did kind of consider, well, what if we did a live stream too? But I didn't have the camera, I didn't have the lights, I didn't have the streaming software. It would have literally been a stream from a phone, and those would always work the greatest. So yeah. Anyways, but yeah, we got our 20 super chats. We hit the goal, which is fantastic. I really, really appreciate you guys. Like I say all the time, YouTube tells us creators what things in the algorithm perform better than others, and they have been very adamant that you do chats and you hit those chat goals, and the algorithm like weights that way heavier than anything else. And we have absolutely seen it. Our live numbers are through the roof. We do excellent, excellent live numbers, and you can see that steady progressive growth every time you guys do it. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Really appreciate it, because again, we're really going to need that to make things happen. You guys know all the cool, crazy stuff I want to do with that, which would absolutely, benefit you guys as well. So yeah, super, super awesome. Oh yeah, debate dog. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, Auspex Tactics didn't credit me in the original one. I think he did a follow-up video where he mentioned me for like, I don't know, 2 seconds. But yeah, whatever. Anyways, yes, Drakenfeld 2026 Armies and Prey Discord folder will come. Yes, every Monday. We are back on every Monday. I will see all of you gets next Monday right here. Same orc time, same orc. Well, maybe not the same orc time. You guys know I kind of start my stream randomly, but you will definitely see my ugly mug next Monday night for sure. We are back on Monday Night WAAAAGH as a regular schedule. We will definitely see you next week. I will definitely be making videos in between now and then, but for sure, live streams every Mondays. So yeah, we'll see you then. But yeah, I think you guys know all that's left. Until then, walk on. Oh, my throat is killing me. I really do need a red squig. Dying.